could be with anyone, you're here with me. You're here with me. You could be the rapper. You could be with anyone, and I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the Thursday or Tuesday night call-in show. I thought it was Thursday. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Welcome to the show. Give me a one in the chat if you can see me, you can hear me, so that way I know I'm good to go. And I'm not sitting there talking to myself, which is very disturbing. People don't understand how to actually feel when you just been talking for a long time and nobody is listening. It's scary, dare I say. All right, I got some ones in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Welcome. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Appreciate that. Say, James, you're number one. I appreciate that. Make a brother feel good. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another big healthy dose of this foolishness that we are watching called Sister Wives. Oh man. Welcome, Michelle Bratz. Like, I made it alive. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Brad. Yes, you did. Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm gonna set this up and then I'm gonna open up the phone lines for you guys to be able to call in because I talked a lot on Sunday. I was going buck wild. So I'm gonna in fact, I think what I'm gonna start doing, I might start giving little samplings of some of my foolishness. But one of the things that I thought about as I was thinking about this show tonight is something because Daisy Reyes, what's going on, Daisy? How you doing? Salute. She said something like Christine is calling Cody a good man now. One, I think that they've reached that point where I'm concerned about the show just because they don't have much story to tell on the first part, and in the second part, it just seems like they're not being forthright with their time, energy, and their lives. So they're trying to keep things back, which is understandable. Again, I understand that you're on TV, you don't want everybody in your business because it can be bad. But at the same time, what that does is it creates an environment where we actually have shows about nothing, or we'll call them fabricated storylines, but in reality, they're acceptable storylines, acceptable problems, acceptable issues. You're willing to talk about things you're comfortable talking about. Whereas if it's something serious that you've done during the course of the show, even if they catch it on film, they don't want to talk about it during a tell-all. They don't want to answer any questions about it. They don't want to have anybody pose any questions to them that may cause them to actually deal with or be accountable for the things that they did. We saw this all the time, actually, in previous episodes of Sister Wives, where you had people come in and they'll say things or do things during the course of the season, but nobody ever seems to mention it during the tell-all, especially like Robin and Cody. They'll do all kinds of crazy stuff, say all kinds of crazy stuff, but at no time during the tell-all can Suki or whoever the host is at the time, host du jour, be able to come in and say, oh yeah, remember when you said this to Christine? What exactly were you talking about? Remember when you told that lie to Christine about if she actually filed child custody to get things nailed down in a legal sense, or if she filed for child support, the state would step in, steal all her money, take away all her resources, then take ownership of the children. So technically, she'll lose the children and all her assets because she was coming after Cody for money. They never asked him anything about that. And I think that would be a good point. Like, that's a good question. Like, that's a good conversation. Why would you say that? I just saying that to be saying it. But don't you see the damage that does to somebody? Maybe that's why people don't like you, Cody. They don't have those serious conversations. But then something else occurs to me. Why I'm not a fan of, like, just the sheer dishonesty of it, because again, you're only talking about things you're comfortable talking about, And because you're only talking about the things you're comfortable talking about, this gives rise to where Mary, even like Mary as an example, how she's tied back to Cody for so long. Because nobody would come out and say what needs to be said. Nobody is being honest to her. Like, yeah, Jen is saying stuff now, but this is like season 20 after Cody basically kicked her out of the freaking family. So now for Jen to come back and be like, yeah, you know, you're not welcome in the family. Yeah, thanks for letting me know after he already kicked me out 20 seasons later. And by what I mean, just being honest, you know, we're gonna be honest. What it comes down to is Cody didn't want you. Cody didn't want Christine. He didn't want Janelle. He didn't want y'all. Oh, but we were married for 30 years. It doesn't matter because he didn't want you. He hasn't wanted you for quite some time. He was okay using you. He was okay with you being around, but he didn't want you. You weren't the source of his desire. He was allowing you to stay around. But James, if he didn't want us, why was he so upset? Why was he crying and stuff? He wasn't crying because he had this deep loss of the person that he had committed to. When he talked about you leaving and he was upset about you leaving, he wasn't upset because you left. He was upset that he could no longer get from you the things he wanted from you. There is a difference. There is a difference. He wasn't mad or crying because somebody who is genuinely upset, like I had this great opportunity with this young lady and she was amazing and she was wonderful and I messed it up because I did whatever the hell I did. Blah, 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 blah. I did those things. The first thing that would happen is I recognize what I did wrong. The second thing that would happen is I recognize what I did wrong. And then I say, I wish I didn't do that. And given the opportunity, I would no longer do that thing because my relationship with that person is that important that I would change whatever it is I did wrong. When was the last time we ever heard Cody say anything close to that with regard to any of the three wives that he had? When was the last time he came out and said, you know what? If I was able to get Christine, Mary, and Janelle back, if I was able to get my family back, I would be different. What he wants is he wants the wives and the kids to behave in a way that he finds acceptable. He misses being able to run all over you. He misses being able to threaten you with his absence in order to augment or change your behavior. He misses the very threat that you won't have his favor as a means for you to do whatever he wants you to do, for you to be subservient, for you to sit there and drop everything that you have going on, your kids have going on to serve his needs. That's what he misses. He doesn't miss you. He misses using you. And that's the message that I think was missing because they avoided the truth, because they didn't talk about real things, because they didn't hang out with a real one. Because when you hang out with a real one, your perspective in your life changes. And I don't just mean like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, partner, life partner. I'm talking about even in your friends, your family, your circle, the people that you deal with. If they real ones and they keep it all the way a buck, they keep it all the way honest, your life will improve drastically. Why? Because they don't have the victim mentality. How many times have we sat around and noticed that Cody and Robin have this victim mentality? Right? Everything is wrong. Everybody's picking on me. Woe is me. I can't possibly win. Everybody's out to get me. The world hates love. And when you see that, what happens is when you have that victim mentality, it poisons your brain because you no longer see opportunity. What you see is obstacles. When he looked at his family, after dealing with Robin for years and bathing in the lake, not Lake Minnetonka, but the lake and sea of victimhood, When he looked at his family, he didn't see an opportunity for love, companionship, for familial ties. What he saw was a bunch of obstacles. He saw a bunch of people in his way. When you hang out with a gossip, somebody who wants to sit around and talk about other people behind their back, secret to the sauce, folks. If they will talk about others to you, they're talking about you to others. Let's be very clear about that. If she's sitting around behind, like if you sit there talking to Robin and she's sitting there, I was in the room with Mary, Christina, Janelle, and those heifers had a whole bunch of stuff to say about you. And I was so surprised and shocked. My question isn't, okay, wow, they're talking about me. Tell me more about what they said. My first question is, well, when they were saying all this, what did you say? What did you say? When they was talking mad shit about me, okay, I get it. Oh, they was getting dirty. What did you say? And another question I have, if you're so loyal to me and you're on my side, why do these people feel comfortable talking shit about me to you? If you're on my side, you on my team, everybody know you about this, James, like, why they feel comfortable talking to you? Why was that even on the menu? Riddle me this, Batman. Why was that a thing? Right? So you have the point where they're doing the whole victim side of everything. You have the point where they're sitting around and they're acting as though they're gossips. You also have the point where they're dream killers, right? They remind you of why your goals won't work, why your shit is always gonna fail. You ever had somebody like that? You go to them with a plan. Remember when Janelle came to the family and said, hey, how about we open a gym? Or Mary showed up and said, hey, how about this other investment Lizzie's in? That's something we could do. And everybody sat around and talked about why that shit ain't gonna work. Nobody offered any solutions or how it could work, or maybe suggestions on what could make it better, how to tweak it. In this case, the only people who were given opportunities to do things were Cody and Robin. And that's what we saw on the show. Then you have, of course, you have the and they're the most toxic types of people. The behaviors that they displayed on the show are the most toxic types of people. You have the parasite. Their relationships with so many of the other wives was parasitic in nature. And again, I don't miss you. This is what Cody would say to the OG3. I don't miss you. I miss your money. I miss your contribution to the family fund. Who's the family fund? I'm the family fund. Okay? My bills get paid. Robin gets to go on vacation. We get to have nice stuff at the house. I get to improve my home. My big little McMansion, it was $1.6 million. I was able to sell that, turn that around, and get myself into the shit show chateau, the Cinder Palace. They were able to do those things. Why? Because their relationships were parasitic in nature. They didn't want you around because they wanted to improve your life. They didn't want to make your life better. It was a one-way street. It was all about you taking care and supporting them, you supporting their dreams, their ambitions, you making them comfortable. If you're in a situation where you're with somebody and all they want to do is be made comfortable in that situation, they don't give a shit how you feel about stuff, whether you're comfortable or not, then you are in a parasitic relationship, and that won't work. It's not feasible, because while they eat away at you, while they're eating your core, your essence, your life force, they aren't replenishing anything. It's not a symbiotic relationship where you depend on each other. They're consuming you. And the crazy thing is, once they finish consuming you, guess what happens? Boom, they gone. Once you no longer have anything for them that they need, they gone. Okay. Another toxic personality that I noticed with Cody, and you even saw it in last week's episode when the daughter Brianna Aurora brought I forget these kids' names. Aurora, I think it was, brought her boyfriend Blake or whatever to the house, and Cody's sitting there competing with this boy. How you gonna be a grown ass man with a full on wife that you've been with for 15 years, and you're so insecure in your relationship that you have to show everybody in the room how much you in love with your wife? Everything is a competition. Everything is competitive. The craziest part in dealing with somebody who is a competitor instead of a companion is that when you deal with somebody who is a competitor instead of a companion, they can never celebrate your wins. They can never truly celebrate or appreciate when you have good news or when you do something positive or when something great happens for you. Because every time they turn around and try to celebrate your wins, you know what they actually do? Wind up doing? They wind up talking about how your wins are actually their wins. Or how, yeah, you might have won this little bit of thing, but I won the world champions. Even in your celebration of victory, they have to find a way to steer it towards celebrating their personal victory. It's never about you, it's always about them. We attribute this a lot of times to narcissistic tendencies or behaviors or whatever on Cody's part, but it's the fact that the sheer fact of the matter is that he's a competitor. He's childish, it's immature. It's like he can't help himself. If you do something great, I either have to be a part of what you're doing or I know somebody who did exactly what you're doing. I got a friend or a buddy who doing the thing. I can't say good job and leave it there. It has to be good job. And this is how I helped you do it. This is how I helped you and this is my contribution. And aren't I great because you did this? When she went to get baptized, it wasn't a celebration about her getting baptized. It was a celebration about him being there to baptize her. It was about how awesome and godlike he is. Not about a celebration about her relationship with her deity or her congratulations for you finding religion and peace for yourself. It's about me bringing you to peace. And that's what that whole dinner turned into. And we've been watching 20 seasons of that. So that's crazy to me. And again, in that situation, part of what upsets them is that when your success and your good news and your positive things that start to happen, and this is where I see a lot with Cody, when those things start to happen, he feels threatened. He feels threatened when you start winning. So imagine being married to somebody who is sitting there being threatened by your victories, right? And when that happens, you run into like the fake supporter and the fake ass anchor person who's trying to always, or the sabotage person, the person who goes behind you like, yeah, fake, yeah, I'm on your side, you amazing. And the whole time they're trying to sabotage your efforts, your successes from within. And that's what I'm watching with Cody. And that's what I've been seeing the whole time. The what I used to refer to back in the day as a time thief. They're time thieves. They're constantly pulling you into pointless drama. Everything is about them. And after you have a 4 or 5 hour conversation about all the bullshit that they started, that they don't want to take accountability or responsibility for starting, then all of a sudden you spend 4 or 5 hours talking about their stuff. And every time you get with them, you talk about their shit. You're so focused on their stuff that you can't even focus on your stuff. You can't focus on your hopes, your dreams, and the things that'll make you better because you're too busy tied up in their bullshit. And that's part of what being in a relationship, that's what I see a lot of with regard to them being in a relationship with each other and how they deal with one another. You know, it's just a bunch of like craziness. And of course, you got Robin, the eternal enabler. Everything Cody does, she turns around and tell him that he's gosh gosh awesome. He's amazing. He's so smart. He's so brilliant. He has a reason for why he does everything. If he does the wrong thing, he did that because it's somebody else's fault that he did it. Nothing is ever his fault. Nothing's ever his damn fault. And again, this is because in his circle, he doesn't have, this goes back to what I was saying before, he doesn't have a real one. He doesn't have somebody who's going to hold his feet to the fire, somebody who's going to hold him accountable. And the problem with that is, and then I'm going to jump off my high horse and I'll let you guys call in. The problem with that is there's a saying, right? Especially in some churches. Iron sharpens iron, right? You can, if you want to make a sword, you want to make a tool of some sort, you have to use something hard in order to make something hard. It's not easy to make these things. You see it, like if you look at old blacksmiths, what do? They put that ore, they put that metal into a fire. They heat it up red hot. Then they get some hard, heavy, and metal, and they bang it out. Bingo, bingo, bingo. And they keep shaping and keep working. In order for you to improve, you have to be around people who drive you to do better. You have to endure the heat in order for you to experience any type of transformation, any substantive transformation, any permanent transformation. You have to endure that heat. And you have to butt up against something that's hard and tough, and something that's just as hard and tough as you are. Because at the end of the day, when we out here dealing with life, life isn't easy. Life isn't easy. Life is hard. So in order for you to prepare for this hard thing, you have to endure hard things. And sometimes the hardest thing that you can possibly endure is the truth. Hearing the truth. When if I were to sit here and talk to Mary Christine and Janelle, yeah, we could have the the very flowery conversation about how awesome their family is and how wonderful it is that they had this family, and how they, gosh guard, wouldn't change it for anything because it's so amazing. And I get that. But the raw truth is, you guys were getting used. You got played. The truth of it is, you got played. He was a different person at the time. Yeah, it's easy to be different when you don't have the facility to be the person that you want to be. Because at the end of the day, people are surprised by how Cody turned out. I'm not surprised how Cody turned out, because in my estimation, that's probably who he always was. The person that we see on TV now, the person that we know as Cody Brown, a TV personality, is most likely the person he's always been. The only difference is he didn't have the freedom or finances to be that person way back in the day. Back in the day, if he would have walked out on his family or left Christine, Mary, and Janelle for a young, hot, sexy, tight little thing, and drove 5 hours to go see her and spent 3 days consecutive over at that house, and he came back and he didn't have a TV show, he wasn't making six figures, that shit never would have been tolerated. It wouldn't have been tolerated. His behavior never would have been acceptable. But see, now he has, so he had no, to back it up, he had no reason to pursue that. He had no reason to go after that, to be that person, because it just wouldn't have been tolerated. It wouldn't have been acceptable. So you cultivate and shape your behavior to the things that give you success, give you those opportunities, allow you to exist in your social strata. And then the second he felt like he no longer needed those things, guess who he became? The person that we see now. That's not probably the hardest part for the OG3 to recognize. Cody isn't, oh, I remember when, years ago he was a different person. No, he's been who he has been the whole time. You just didn't see it because he couldn't afford to show you that person. Now he has a little bit of money in the bank. He feels like he can afford to show you who he is. And I know somebody in the chat has probably already wrote the old Maya Angelou statement, which we hear all the time. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first damn time. He's showing you who he is. When somebody shows you who they are, stop calling them a liar. Stop telling them that you know them better than they know themselves. Believe they ass. He's not making a mistake. He's not, I think I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm going to tell you ladies, I don't want y'all around. I only want to be with Robin because Robin's amazing. He wasn't, in his mind, he wasn't making a mistake. His only mistake was spending time with you, as far as he's concerned. And this is where the whole thing with Mary's worthy up comes into place and all that. We'll get into that, I guess, when the callers hit. But that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. We're going to jump into the callers, see what you guys have to say. I have some super chats that I have to go through. And then we are going to kick this. We're going to light the fires, kick the tires and get this bad boy rolling. All right. Let me go to the super chats. We had Lizzie B in the house. $5 super chat. This reminds me of when Mary brought her B&B and Cody told her no on everything. And then when it opened, he was the one cutting the ribbon. Boy, bye. Fair play. Fair play. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? The person who is trying to snuff your dreams out in the crib, trying to kill them early, right? That person is the same one standing there on opening day doing a cutting of the ribbon is signifying your integral part in the development of this plan. And he's standing there cutting the ribbons. He told her I wasn't going to give you nothing. And not only did he tell her he wasn't going to give her any money, he told her that any investment that she made into that bed and breakfast is a waste of money. Isn't it crazy? Isn't this crazy? He didn't want Mary ass around. Here she is about to open a house in Parowan. Buy a house in Parowan, which is like several hours away from Vegas. He told her, no, don't buy the house. Now she thinking he don't want me to buy the house because he's afraid I'm gonna move away. She said that several times on the show. He keeps saying I'm trying to move away. I ain't trying to move away. Woman, he don't care if you move away. He don't care if you move to the moon. What it is he's afraid you're going to move away and take that money with you. See, he didn't like you. He liked what you were sitting on. That fat ass bank account, the half deed to that house in Vegas. That's what he was concerned about. Why did he romance you and coerce you and get you to move from Vegas to Arizona? Because he wanted you to sell your house and give him the money. That's why he was talking about restarting shit. And oh, girl, I've been missing you. I've been thinking about you the whole time. He has literally been sleeping less than 100 feet away from your front door. In any direction. Probably about 100, 200 feet or whatever. He close by. He was sleeping at your neighbor's house, essentially. When OG3 was living on the whole family was living on that cul-de-sac, he was sleeping at your neighbor's houses. He never not once cracked your damn door. Hey, Mary, you mind if I spend the night here, sleep on the couch? None of that. Then all of a sudden, you going to Arizona. He trying to get y'all to move to Arizona and get you to sell your house. All of a sudden, yeah, girl, we could start this over. How come he wasn't trying to date you in Vegas, boo-boo? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the parasitic relationship. That's the competitive relationship. That's him sitting there talking about, this is my victory. See how I'm winning? Now, the family has another house in Parowan. Boy, get out of here. Get out of here. But thank you so much, Lizzie B. I appreciate you. One of the mega mods in the house. Let me give you a little something. Then we have Betty Aldridge. What's up, Betty? Betty Aldridge with a $5 super chat. James, I want to talk tonight, LOL. Hopefully before dinner calls me. Betty's like, hurry this up. No worries, Betty. We're about to get into it. Then we have Shannon Lee. $4.99 super chat. They will never bring up whatever Cody is still not good standings with. They will never bring up whether Cody is still in good standings with the AUB and why he isn't anymore if he's not. That not in good standings. My man ain't been cutting no checks. Let's call it a buck. Like sometimes, membership is continued. You gotta pay your membership fees. Homeboy is behind on his dues. That he hasn't been attending services. And they won't address it because, well, one, I don't think the AUB wants him. They never wanted him talking about their business online anyway, on public anyway. Two, the fact that he's failed at it only makes it worse. It only makes it worse. So you went against our wishes, went on TV, talked about the AUB, then you failed at polygamy, and you failed spectacularly at polygamy, and then you want to come back and associate yourself strongly with us and talk about us. And the only way the AUB would even be on board with is if he got on TV and said that the AUB said I was terrible at polygamy and I never should have been able to do it in the first place. I can see that being like the only way they're going to co-sign it. Otherwise, my man is in trouble. They're not happy with Cody Brown at this time. But yeah, they're never going to talk about that because that's too hard. That's too hard. You know what I mean? That was way too hard. So, but let me give you a little something. Because you have to have a real conversation about why he's not in the AUB and why he left, and if did he leave because he couldn't hack it. He's not going to say that. He's going to say I left because AUB was somehow unfair and they didn't do the right thing, and I found out that they were teaching the wrong thing, or somehow he's going to put it back on them. And AUB is not playing that shit. So I think for him, in his mind, the safest place for him to be, probably with Robin's coercion and input, they decided not to address or talk about the AUB at all. Then we have Lizzie B back again with the $2 super chat. Yes, James, let's keep the same energy. Let's keep the same energy. That's right. If you tell me from the start that I'm going to fail, that I'm going to be a loser, don't tell me that I can't do something, and then you want to come to the celebration party when I do the thing that you said I couldn't do. And let's get into that for a minute. When somebody tells you there's a good portion of the time when somebody tells you that you can't do something, your hope, your dream, something that you aspire to do, something that's burning and a passion in your heart, and they look you in the face and say you can't do it. What I found in most cases, what they're actually saying is, I can't do that. This isn't for me. I would never be able to do X, Y, Z. That's why you can't do X, Y, Z. Because you're not better than me. No, I'm not better than you. We're just different. This isn't your passion. This might be my passion. This is something I'm committed to. So I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to take the time. I'm willing to make the sacrifices in order to be successful at this thing. You don't care about it. So you're not willing to do what's necessary in order for you to be successful. So no, you wouldn't be successful doing it. But because you wouldn't be successful doesn't mean I won't be successful. It's having a real one in your corner isn't just about somebody there telling you that you can't or telling you can. It's about somebody being honest. It's about honesty. Now, I see you willing to work, but you got to be willing to work. If this is what you say you want, you got to be willing to work for it. That's an honest response. As opposed to, yeah, you ain't never going to be able to do it. Why would you be able to do it? There's a lot of people doing a lot of things that people thought they could never do. There was a comic, Kathy Griffin, right? She was working, she was making millions of dollars doing comedy. I never really thought she was funny, particularly, but she found even by her description, if you talk to Kathy, sat down and talked to her, she'll tell you, I'm not funny. Most people didn't think I was funny. Well, she won't say I'm not funny, but she said most people didn't think I was funny. She had a hard way to go. What she did was, though, she had a passion to be a comic. She found her niche audience. She cultivated an act towards that niche audience, and she became very successful in her niche. When people were saying that she's terrible and she's horrible, she was making money. She was doing movies and TV and making money, right? And she was living her dream. Sometimes that's all it takes is for you to believe in your damn self. Like, you can't sit around and wait for somebody else to believe in you. They got to catch up, right? Because not everybody gets emailed on or copied on email when God puts something on your heart. When you get sent that message, not everybody get copied on it, right? Because in some cases, none of their damn business. This is between you and you. So I'm glad Mary bought her house because she's happy with her house. And if Mary hadn't bought that house, could you imagine if Mary wouldn't have bought that house? She'd be sitting in the same situation Janelle's in. Isn't that crazy? Where she's sitting there trying, as far as the money from the family, she's fighting and struggling. What the hell is that? Oh, my guitars and stuff. She's fighting and struggling, trying to get her money from the family. Right? Fighting and struggling, trying to get her share of the contribution that she's made towards the family. How crazy is that? So, no. But let me give you a little something, Lizzie. Then we had Lizzie B again with the $2 super chat. Instead of giving good PR, Cody closed the factory. You're right. And that's the thing too, is that he spent so much time trying to cut himself off and trying to shape and bend these women into stuff that he wanted to do, his failed existence or whatever, that he actually wound up screwing the women over. Like we're gonna cut this off, we're gonna cut that off. What we don't need to do is this kind of stuff and that kind of stuff. We don't need to do any of these things. And then what? You know what I mean? Then they all lose. They all lose. All right. Well, thank you so much, Lizzie B. Close the factory. Here's a link. There we go. Drop the link in. Oh, I'm going to pin it up top. I'm going to pin it to the top so you guys can jump in. All right. See, that wasn't so bad. Half hour of crazy ranting and raving. All right. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, blew a career up. Yeah. She blew a career up, though. She had dreams and hopes. She blew it all up. Kathy Griffin. But thank you so much, guys. Let's get to the phone lines. Hold on one second. All right, we have Betty up first. What's going on? Oh, wait. What's going on, Betty? How you doing?
What's up?
How's everything?
Girl, good. I'm making some chicken fried rice in there. I wasn't rushing you or nothing. I'm gonna be listening in the background.
No, it's no worries.
I'm not trying to piss anybody off because Aurora could be a sweet girl. But when we talk about the redemption arc, it's not just Cody and Robin that's doing the redemption arc. It's been a redemption arc for that whole family since the episode with the ear piercing. Because before that, it was and please forgive me, I'm not trying to piss anybody off. But before that, like the trailer where those two young ladies went in and was like, oh, that's a foot wash, dog beds, and they were just so snarky. And then we saw them at Christmas where we know that Savannah had literally nothing to do with them at school, and that they were on Gwendolyn's thing where she said they were kind of mean girls.
Right.
Now, and then it went immediately from that to being in Mary's backyard where she was talking about dating. She had a boy coming around, and she got her ears pierced, and she had to ask Cody, and he had to take her because she was getting her ears pierced at 20 years old. And now, in this episode, she might have been 22. Now she's going on 23, possibly even 24 years old. This is not her first relationship. He was already talking about it. But I hate that they're portraying her as so innocent and sweet. I'm sorry. You were a fucking mean girl. And I would tell that to my own children. And I'm not picking on her about her age. I'm just saying I had to tell my own kids, you're being an asshole. And when my kids got too high on the horse thinking they were better than anybody else, we went to the fucking, don't want to get you cut off. We went to the shelter. I never took away their presents, nothing like that. I'm just saying I wanted them to serve in the shelter. Like, you go to the shelter and we're going to show you what humility looks like. You not get off your high horse. You are no better than anyone else ever. I'm not better than hell. I made mistakes, but it feels like it's a family redemption where they're trying to portray these girls as so innocent. And the knife thing, I'm sorry, I have 3 boys, 1 girl, but if any of my boys gave their girlfriends a knife and said, here, you can stab me if you feel unsafe, fuck you, no. Oh, pardon my language, I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. Like, no. And if you feel like you're in a situation where a girl feels the need to stab you, maybe that's not the best for you. And I mean, the young man seems wonderful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the whole knife thingy, like, I'm sure production's feeding them lines to say at this point. But, and then the same thing with the faith. Okay, you're wearing the cross, you're wearing that. Well, faith, if you're like me, starts with admitting that You can be mean. I can be mean. I can be a snarky bitch. And when I do, I feel bad. But don't get me wrong, I can lose my temper and I will say some stupid shit I should never say. I mean, I still talk about it now, and I still tell my children, it's like, learn from my mistakes. I mean, like my son and I were talking. I know it's off the topic, but just trying to talk to my kids. I'm like my oldest son, and we were laughing. I'm like, yeah, I kind of grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, where I went out at 17 Club, and I was in between all the older folks.
Mm.
So I snuck into clubs in Memphis, and Memphis was like real clubs. My poor husband, his big thing was at 22 when we were married. His friends talked him into going downtown Memphis and egging hookers. That was his big rebellion. He went and egged hookers. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? And we laugh about it now. I'm like, that was your big rebellion? You went and egged hookers? And then the police stopped him and said, go home. He said, yes, sir.
Oh. Well, because I think that with the young ladies part, it's not even so much the redemption arc as much as they're trying to reintroduce them to the audience, because they will be the show. You know,
But
moving forward, I think
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, baby.
sacrifice the kids to the audience so that they can have a show, because
But
they're
if
not
they're
going to
gonna
talk
do it,
about their lives. They're going to talk about the kids' lives and what's going on with them.
but if they're gonna talk about the children's lives, at least keep it realistic. I'm sorry, she's almost coming up on 23 in this show. At 23, you've already dated. Do not portray it as Prairie Ann. Oh, I'm just so innocent. I've never done anything. I am just a celestial virgin and I've never done anything. Let me twist my hair. That gets on my nerves. With it, if it was my own daughter, I'd be smacking the shit out of her saying, girl, please. I've
What was
heard
that?
you.
They're trying. Well, I think there's a couple things going on with that. One, I think that like the whole she isn't kissing anyone because that's somebody else's wife. The
That was
whole
creepy.
playing innocent thing. I think that plays towards potentially Robin's backup plan of going back into the AUB, because even though she dated a guy on television, she wasn't really with that guy because she's pure as a driven snow, because they weren't even kissing and stuff because Cody wouldn't allow it. That was like the first part. The second part is I think that there's some kind of fantasy that Robin has where she tries to infantilize her children and make them kids when clearly they're not kids. And like I was
No,
saying
they're
on
adults.
Sunday, you're opening her up. If you make your child a child and you set her into the dating world, you are sending her out completely unarmed and unprepared, because she will get ran over and ran through. And them guys will eat her ass alive because she is not ready.
But I disagree with that only in that the snarky comments talking about dating when she was in Mary's backyard. I mean, not that I disagree with you. I mean, like I do believe that she's trying to, make them infants again. But they have social media. They have been in college. They are not shielded with this. They're in the AUB. They've never been exposed to anything. They're not exposed to social media. And I'm sorry, there is no way in hell that you can tell me a 23-year-old girl, 22 if she was at the time, has not been on Facebook, Instagram, all those things where you're getting exposed to a whole lot. You're not that fucking innocent.
Well, I'm not saying
And I would say that about my own children. Like
right.
my
I'm
own
not
kids are
saying
not that innocent.
I'm not saying she's innocent. What I'm saying is that that's how Robin is advertising her. That's how she's
Hell
put her
yeah.
out, because we there's a lot of things that we could say, like the same way Robin will say that they're innocent and childlike and they've never been touched and all that, never kissed a boy, etc., etc. That's what they say on TV, and we suspect that that's not the case, but I haven't seen anything to the contrary. It's also like when both her and Cody sit up there and say, oh, well, during our course of our relationship while we were recording, I never touched her. I didn't do anything inappropriate. Dude, you are a grown ass man driving 5 hours to go
We
see a
saw the
woman. There's
picture.
no way in the world you went 5 hours every weekend to see a woman and you didn't do shit with her. I'm a grown ass man. I've been a grown ass man for a long time. And I'm telling you right now, there's no way in the world a dude is driving 5 hours every weekend to see a woman and he's not doing something. He's
Oh
doing
hell no.
something. But I mean, that's the common sense part of it. What I'm saying is that this is all about their presentation. The way
Well,
she's
yeah, that's
trying to
why I said
present
the
it is that
redemption
she's
arc is more about the whole family. Like it's like they're trying to change them into the nuclear family from the 1950s, where
right.
women stayed home, they maintained the household, the man went to work, and the children obeyed the father. And it's like, I'm sorry, that's just not realistic.
Right. Well, not just the
It's just
children,
not.
though, it's the children and the wife. Because
Oh
Robin is
yeah,
also playing the submissive bride. So it's, he's the king of the castle, he's the boss, she's obeying him. She gets the perks of staying home and tending to the children, and he's out fighting the world and doing manly man things. Like, you know.
girl, give me that life now. I would love it. Bring it on. Let me stay home and just sit and have bonbons and wear a nice little dress and like, oh, here's your meatloaf. Have dinner. Well, I did not mean to keep you, and I swear I'm not trying to piss anybody off, and I'm not
No,
trying to disagree with you at all.
no,
But
no, you're
because,
entitled
girl,
to your
I love
opinion.
your take on it. It just, to me, it's irritating. It's like, okay, at least if this is reality. At least let's be realistic about it.
Right. Right.
Not that. I mean, I'm sorry. I walked in on my daughter when she was in the middle of having a little fondle session. I'm like, and she started busting out crying. Mama, are you mad? I'm like, girl, you are 21 years old. It happens.
Right. Right.
Maybe be smart enough to know my schedule from work so you're not going to get busted. But no, I mean,
Because I don't
like,
want to see some things too. I think that's all about it too. Like I don't want to. There's certain things
no,
I don't
but
want to. I know things are going on, but I don't necessarily want to see it. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
want to see it and I don't need to know about it. I don't want to hear about it. Same
Right.
as I have 3 boys. Please. I'm like, girl, please wrap that up. Let's not,
Yeah.
you know.
But
But
thank you.
I mean, I'm sorry. And that was crude. And I do apologize for people who may be sensitive to that. But I
No,
mean, that's
no
just
worries.
reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect nothing less from my children because I absolutely was not pure as the driven snow. My husband, on the other hand, may have been, but
Well, that's the
because he
corrupting force of
definitely,
marriage.
yeah, poor thing. He didn't know what he got with me, and then now he's stuck. I got him trained perfect 40 years. He can't do it now. Like, too late now. The warranties ran out.
There you go. There you go. The receipt is
All right, I
overdue.
love you, sweetheart.
All right. Have a
And
good
again,
one,
if I
Betty.
offended anyone, I apologize if I did offend anyone. It's just my opinion.
There you go. You're entitled to it. Well, have a good one,
All right, I
Betty.
love you, baby.
Take it easy. Love you
You
back.
too, sweetheart. Night,
Enjoy
night.
your food. Awesomeness. All right, next up we have wait, before we get into it, we had a super short. It was Tracy Roth Myers. Remember for 6 months? Thank you, Tracy. Hiya, James and all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Then we had Lady D London, $5 super chat. Said, agree, James. If you're familiar with high controlled religions, Cody and Robin are acting normal. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like these guys, I've been to a lot of different places. I've tried to experience a lot of different things, especially when it comes to faith and stuff. Some of the more suspect places that I've seen, especially like from a religious standpoint, usually occur in like the big mega churches, like in those big churches you got to pay to get in, and like you can't sit on like the lower floors. Like you come in, they have designated areas where you can sit because only like people who tithe a certain amount. Like if you tithe a big number, you get to sit down in the front, in the middle. If you give every week and you're pretty supportive of the church congregation, you might be to the middle, to the rear. If you are a guest, you get to sit up in the rafters. Right. But the crazy part is that with some of these places, it's straight up pimps in the pulpit. And that's not just the mega churches. You have that too in like some of the smaller churches. Just straight pimps in the pulpit. Like they trying to whoremongers, they trying to get to every woman. Come get some counseling. You can come to my office and we'll get on our knees together. right? That dude, or you every time you turn around, they asking for money. Right, you mess up, go to that service, and you put your name and phone number down or your address. Then all of a sudden you get, yeah, Reverend Quan trying to go to Bermuda this summer, so let's send them. So we're gonna have a special donation for the pastor's vacation. Like this dude, man, you get a paycheck. That's my contribution to you being able to go on your vacation. Just like if I want to go somewhere, I gotta save my nickels, my twos, my fews from my income so that I can go where I need to go. I can't start passing the plate around asking people to kick in so I can go on vacation. But some of these people, boy, they be dead ass. I'm trying to send my kids to private school. Meanwhile, the congregation, we gonna try to get the pastor housing, appropriate housing. He lives in a mansion. His kids go to private school. He's driving an $80,000 luxury car. Him and his wife each have $80,000 cars. They go on vacation. They have private jets. Meanwhile, the people in the congregation can barely afford to keep their lights on. They catching a bus, and their kids are going to public school. Pimps in the pulpit. So how people talk about their faith necessarily isn't congruent with how they're living their faith out. How Robin and Cody are trying to present these kids isn't necessary, even as Betty said, isn't necessarily congruent with how they're actually living, especially when you take into account of just being a human being and having basic life experience. My experience is you have somebody who is super duper sheltered. It seems that Robin's trying to super duper shelter these kids. Your kids are primed to get taken advantage of by the right dude. You don't want to talk to your kids about sex and sexuality. You want to give them that education. There's going to be plenty of people who are going to stand, mostly them guys, them girls too, will be standing right in line and tell them to do the thing. And as I said on Sunday, if you don't talk to your kids about it, you're going to have the wrong people talking to them about it. The only difference is when you talk about it, you're trying to give them good information to protect them. When they talk to them about it, they're trying to coerce them to do whatever it is they're trying to get them to do. So that whole like, oh, she's a good baby, there's just you setting her ass up. Like I said, them dudes are going to eat her ass alive. Oh, when I meet them, you think every guy who's going to take advantage of your child is going to come there and be like, yeah, where the hoes at? You think he's going to pull up, have his shirt down to open to his navel? Nope. He's going to show up. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. How you doing, sir? Yes, outstanding. Beautiful. Ha, ha, ha. Yes, I am. I'm a very good Christian person. I believe in the faith and blah, blah, blah. Anything you want to hear. Yes, I have a good job. I come from a respectable family. And that dude will do dirty duggums out your daughter quick, fast, in a hurry. Yes, sir. No, sir. All the respect. Yes, Mr. Johnson. Yes, Mr. Brown. He calls me Mr. Brown. Every time he says it, I look over the shoulder from my dad. That dude is going to be knee deep. Trust me when I'm telling you. Been around, Jack. Been around. Seen some things. Thank you so much, Lady Dick. All right. Next up, we have Sharon. Sharon, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey, James, how are you this evening?
Doing well.
So I'm with you, James. Ain't no way. We've talked about this before, him and Robin, and by driving the 5 hours, ain't no way. And you could even hear it in his hesitation when he said it on the show this time. You could just hear it. There ain't no way Eggplant Cody and Shy Robin ain't getting it on. They wasn't no way.
Right.
And I'm with you too. But you were right on the money about Mary and that she needs to stand up for herself. I don't know how she was so mean to the sister wives and stuff earlier, and then can't stand up to him. I don't know. I can't put my finger on all that, other than just being so manipulated by him and stuff for so many years. Because she said before she wasn't his doormat, but she sure is acting like it now.
Right. Well, I mean, as jacked up as it is, it begs the question, Do you think there's a possibility that she didn't appear to be his doormat because he didn't bother putting even his feet on her ass? Like at the
Well,
time, because it was a long time, he just took for granted she was always going to be there and she was going to
right,
be doing what he needed her to do. So he didn't have to apply foot to ass in order for her to for him to coerce her to do the stuff he wanted her to do. And now
right,
she's kind of in a different position because she has been excised from the family. So now, in order for him to get her to do anything, he actually has to go out and have a conversation with her. It's not a suggestive, you
oh
know.
yeah, yeah. Well, and you just like you said about teaching your kids to stand up for themselves. You ain't a bad person for standing up for yourself.
Oh
You
hell no.
People treat you how you allow them to treat you.
No, I agree with
And
that.
that's just flat out how it is. So if you allow people, whether they're people in your family or your spouse or even complete strangers, if you allow them to treat you like shit, they gonna treat you like shit. It is what it is.
Right, right.
So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about Christine's comparison to Joe Darger being an architect and Cody being a fireman?
Well, I think that Joe, you can make architects can build buildings. They can also build torture chambers. So, as far as what a good person he is, I don't know enough about him to
Right?
determine whether he's building something positive or building something negative. I do think that he's more organized than Cody is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that that was a very loose way for Christine to take a shot at Cody because Darger had set his family up completely different. He did set his family up with more structure and more purpose than
Right.
what Cody did. He kind of just patchworked his family together.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
and
it just seems just from what just from what we've seen of them on the show, kind of thing and stuff. It seemed like to me that you know they were more organized and not just not just him being with the family and how he treated them, kind of thing. I mean, I listened to Notes to Self 444 the other day, and she said they're neighbors of them, kind of thing, down the road, and they've known them as well as they did the Browns and stuff, and that yeah, they had their issues too, but they did seem to be a more cohesive family, kind of thing. And she felt the same way, that it was because of his leadership rather than you know
mhm,
the yeah, the wives had their issues with each other, just like all polygamists do, she said, but that his role in it seemed to keep them more cohesive. So I just felt like Christine probably hit the nail on the head there, is that Cody's just running around like a wild man.
right, right. Well, because I think too, and this is from somebody who I don't know them.
Right.
So, but I can see a scenario where you have a person who, in Darger's case, and this again, I don't mean this as disrespect to any of the OG3, but
Right.
in Darger's case, it seems that he had a kind of his pick or selection of the women that he actually wanted to marry.
Yeah.
So he had more of a choice. It seemed like he had more of a choice, and he purposefully chose the people that he chose to marry. Whereas it just seemed that Cody just, oh, I need to be a polygamist, and he found somebody who is willing to do polygamy with him
Yeah.
and marry. And that's not the same thing as, oh, I felt, compelled or driven to be with Mary, and she's going to be the first keystone to me building this family that I want to build. I'm going to build my family with her and around her. We're going to build it out together. I didn't have that. I never had that feeling when he talked about Mary or when he addressed Mary and his beginnings with her. It just always
Yeah.
like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like if I was looking to be a swinger or have an open relationship um or that kind of thing, the first thing I would, if I don't do it purposefully like an architect, then what I'm doing is I'm just looking for somebody who's willing to do the thing that I want to do. Not
Exactly.
necessarily a special person. I'm just looking for somebody who's going to participate,
Right. Well,
and
I
that,
think I think Cody is so self-absorbed that it was never going to work, no matter who he was with. And
right.
I don't think them being on TV is what done it in. I think that it eventually, no matter who he picked or who would have married him, I think he would have ended up without him at some point, anyways.
Yeah. Well, because I think that at the end of the day, and again, this burns me up when they do this comparison about how easy it is to be in monogamy. I had a whole thing about this the other day, but when people sit around and talk about how easy it is to be in monogamy is not easy. In order
No.
for you to be successful at monogamy, or I would even imagine polygamy, you have to have, in order for you to be friends, good friends with somebody, you have to have a certain level of maturity in order to appreciate what other people are going through. In order for you to be able to bond with that person, you have to have empathy and sympathy and compassion for a partner.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's part of the maturity in that development in that relationship in order to make it work. And I think Cody is missing that. So
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think that he's mature enough even to do a monogamous relationship, much less start adding people on top of it. Like, I don't think he ever had that maturity. Whereas Joe Darger, I think what might make his relationships more successful is that all the participants are going in with a different level of maturity and understanding, which allows them to make the sacrifices which would be required in order for you to be in a family like that long term.
Yeah. Well, and it's the focus was the family. It seemed like anytime they were on there, their focus was their family. It
Mm,
wasn't what's she getting, what I'm getting, what you getting, what my kid's getting, what that kid's getting, and all that kind of stuff. Not to say that the women wanting their kids to be in Cody, to be important to Cody, is wrong. I just mean they seem like that was their focus. Cody's focus was Cody,
right, right.
plain and simple. I know a lot of people are cracking on Christine and stuff about giving her portion of or whatever she had of Cody pass and stuff back to Cody and Robin. She had to do that. She didn't have a choice. She didn't have a leg to stand on with them to get them to sign that because you probably know that they were, as far as being joint tenants versus being tenants in common, all three own the whole thing. It's not I own a third, you own a third, she owns a third. So
Mm,
there was no way, as mad as Cody was and as upset as Robin was, that they were signing that for her to give it to Mary and Janelle. So she only choice she had was to sign her part away back to Cody and Robin. And them all signed it so that it went back to Cody and Robin because they she wasn't getting them to sign that. There was no way. She could have begged, bargained, stole, and they wouldn't have signed it. Not him standing there on that porch screaming at her like that. There ain't no
right.
way he would have signed for that to happen. Because, I mean, it's clear the plan was that him and Robin was going to take as much of it as they could. Whether it was that they had all the land or that they had the money from the sale of the land.
Well, because the thing is that I don't think she had a bargaining chip in the sense that she didn't have to sign it over at all.
No,
Because
she didn't have to. She didn't
yeah,
have
because he
to.
didn't have a leg to stand on. Like, as far as him trying to come after her equity, he had about as much chance of getting her equity as she did of getting his equity out of the
Yeah,
McMahon. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly. But I
Like we
just mean
both gonna
everybody
just be
was
mad.
wanting her to
you
like
know?
take her part and give it to Mary and Janelle. She couldn't separate her part without Cody and Robin having to sign it too.
Yeah. Was it a joint tenancy situation?
Yeah,
Or was it tenancy in
it
common?
sure was. It sure was. I was pretty sure about it, but I looked it up day before yesterday, and it was they were joint tenants in there with rights of survivorship.
Why would he? That makes zero sense.
I know. I
That's
know.
even dumber than I thought it was, because for those who don't know what we're talking about, just so we can cover this a little bit, little real estate law 101. Um, I am not an attorney. This is not legal advice. But there essentially are three types of ownership. There's tenancy in common, joint tenancy, and tenancy by the entirities. Tenancy by the entirities, easy peasy, is just basically for married people. So if you're married, what's yours is theirs, what's theirs is yours. And there's an automatic right to inherit from that perspective. So if you own a house with your husband and your husband kick off, it's your house. With the closest thing to that would be joint tenancy. Joint tenancy, you can sell your shares in joint tenancy, but you do have a right to survivorship. So, which means that if something were to happen to Christine or Cody or Robin or Cody and Robin, then the property would revert to the other owners. And the reason why that's dumb to me is because the whole purpose and reason why they were supposedly dividing things the way they were, the houses that they purchased, were all for the concept of them being able to pass these things on the estates onto their children. And if you have a property that's in joint tenancy, there's no survivorship for your family.
Right. It just goes to the other
Right.
people on
It
on
reverts to
the
other
deed
people.
with you.
Right. And so that is crazy. Like that's that double talk. What they
Yeah.
should have gone for, which is more common in most of these situations, is what you had referred to earlier. So everybody's in, because remember I said there were three, which is tenancy in common. Tenancy in common gives you the most freedom in that situation. So your family would be able, it's almost a separate asset. Your investment, your ownership is your investment, your ownership.
And if that was that case, she could have took her 1/3 of that piece of property and gave it to Janelle and to Mary.
Right. Right.
Right. But
Right.
this way
She would have had a
this
lot
way
more
she
freedom with what she could do with the property. In
right,
fact, if
right,
she were to pass away, then she could will that property to Janelle or Mary. Her
right.
share of it to Janelle and Mary.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I say, and she said in her book that she would have or could have done it kind of thing and stuff. But I just don't think there's any way in crap she would have got Cody and Robin to sign it. I just don't think they would have.
Well, I think they definitely would have. The fact that Cody went down, I mean, I have a huge problem with a lot of this because it goes back to the whole thing with Mary saying that she didn't want to be considered a bitch if she bitching if she complained or she said something or spoke up for herself.
Right.
That goes back to this Cowdy Pass shenanigans. When he went down, if I'm putting my money into this, why are you going down signing anything by yourself? Why are you making decisions as far as who gets what, where, and when, and who gets put on what title and this, that? Why are you
Yeah.
doing any of that by yourself? If you want to do it by yourself, then you should buy this land by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and
You
I'll tell
know,
you something else that was funny about it. When I went back and looked at the deed, just to make sure I was understanding it right, uh, it was set to be mailed back to Robin's old address in Vegas.
wait, what was that? One more time.
So when you look at the deeds to Coyote Pass before Christine pulled out, because that's what I did was went and looked at that deed to see what it's see what it said and see if she really could have split it out with them. It was set to so after it was filed, the copy was supposed to go, and it was set to be mailed back to Robin's old house in Vegas. Not Mary's house, not Christine's house, not Janelle's house, but Robin's house.
Oh, well, I guess that's where Cody was living, so he was sending it to
Well, of
himself.
course, exactly.
That is ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, see,
y'all wasn't in this together. That goes back to what I was saying from the beginning. Look, I mean, we can sit there and try to play the fantasy all we want, but the truth of the matter is they were never in this shit together. Cody
nope,
was in it for himself,
yep,
and he
for
was
him
looking
and
out for
Robin.
himself, and
Yep.
that's evident by the way that he conducted himself. And it's cool that they're like even Janelle is recognizing that now, but he's always been that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. She said herself that if she, Janelle said at the last thing that if she had a chance to, if she went back and spent a year dating him, she don't think she would ever or courting him that she don't think she would have married him. But little Miss Manipulative Robin, and I'll do this last one and I'll let you go. She was being so manipulative through all of it, and we've all seen bits and pieces, even back to where they had his first birthday in Vegas, and the other women were suggesting a new computer because he needed it for work, and she never said a word until he opened it and wasn't real super happy about it, and then she says, "Well, I really knew that he didn't want one," kind of thing and stuff. I'm thinking, girl. So he keeps calling her Shy Robin now, right? I
Right.
don't think that has anything to do with her being an introvert or her not being an extrovert. I think it's got to do with the fact that she won't hug and kiss on him. I think that's why he wants her to slap his ass when they out in public. And I
Mm.
think that's why he calling her shy, so everybody will think, well, that's why she ain't loving up on him, because she's shy or some shit like that kind of thing. I think that's why he's calling her his shy wife, because that's what he's wanting from her, and she ain't giving it to him.
Yeah. You know what? I ain't mad at you. I ain't gonna hold you because that
You
lines up.
listen. You
That
listen to
does
some of
line
it when
up.
he got. Whenever you listen to it, and he calls her shy wife, there's some kind of hidden innuendo up in there, kind of thing and stuff with his talk, or he's just been talking about that, or like when he was saying there with Brody and all that stuff. And God, I hate that his name rhymes with Cody. Oh
Yeah,
God, I
right.
can't hardly stand
He
it.
might. That's why he likes him.
Well, kind of thing. But I'm gonna tell you, standing there and having that conversation, that's a different conversation with a 22, 23-year-old than it is with Saul and Ari standing there having a conversation.
Right.
At least with McKelty, even though what he said was, and that first boyfriend with what he said was stupid kind of thing and stuff, it was in the privacy and just the adults in the room and just the kids he was talking to. But to stand there and have those conversations with those kids that need to be having different level of conversations, yeah, see, that shit was wrong.
Right. Right.
In my mind, that was wrong kind of thing. And then putting him and Robin's relationship. I'm surprised Robin would let him talk about it, but I'm sure it was a TLC pushed thing.
Yeah, you would think that somebody who is shy and innocent wouldn't want their husband, vociferously discussing their intimate moments. you know, like just outright talking about like, oh yeah, I'll be busting it down and blah blah blah. Like people who are
Yeah.
quiet, and that's why I also say too is it's disrespectful after a while because it's disrespectful from the gate. Because if this is something that she's not into or she doesn't want or she doesn't approve of, for you to keep dragging that out, to especially making her feel uncomfortable, is you being an
Mm-hmm.
asshole. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like some women, they don't care if you sit there and talk about like, oh yeah, we be doing this, that, and the other, and we had to spend some extra time this morning getting ready because somebody was feeling a little frisky. Some women don't mind that. Some women they don't want their business in the street. And if they're the type, if you have to understand your partner, and if your partner doesn't appreciate that, then it's not your place to keep throwing it out there, especially to hit their daughter and their daughter's boyfriend.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If she doesn't feel comfortable talking about it on camera, why would she want to? Who want to hear that their mom is getting tossed up? Like, no, like it's crazy.
I just, yeah, see, and the thing is Mister, we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. Yeah, sure, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Right,
And I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I could see Robin if Brody did something that she didn't like, or she didn't like Brody. I could see her in her manipulative way. He hit on me. And saying crap to get her daughter away. I could see her doing it. I mean, if you lie to your kids just that you don't even ride ATVs kind of thing, you'll lie about anything.
right,
I
right,
mean, she's lied all the way through kind of thing, not just to everybody, all these other people and manipulating everybody in the family, but her own kids like that. Yeah, see. And that's going to come back and bite her because they're going to realize the truth one of these days and try to steer clear of. I ain't so sure that's why Dayton don't have ain't on the show, is that she don't want a lot to do with, he don't want a lot to do with what them and what's going on.
right, right. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for calling in, Sharon. I
You're welcome,
appreciate you.
James. Yes, and you have a good night.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye bye.
Bye. Oh, just to clarify some points. Sharon is 100% right. Like when it comes to joint tenancy, the one catch you can transfer, just so we're clear, because I don't want somebody to write in later. You can transfer joint tenancy. You can transfer joint tenancy, but it requires, because it will be a change to the deed. So instead of it being a joint tenancy under the deed, it'll revert to tenancy in common. And in order for you to do that, you have to file it under usually a quick claim or whatever, in order for you to transfer it over. And it does require the agreement, because it's a substantive agreement change for the people who are on a deed too. So that's what she was referring to when she was saying that Cody and Robin would never go for it. Typically, you could do it if it, because it's not that big of a deal, it's not that much of a change. But if you have two people who are trying to take all the property potentially, allegedly, then yeah, they're not going to agree to it. They're never going to agree to that change, and they certainly aren't going to agree to have more people's names added. That's what Sharon was kind of drilling into, and I can see it. I mean, I hate to say I don't hate to say she's right because she's right. Truth is truth, but I hate to be like the bearer of bad news. That's what the part I don't like. But then we have but Sharon's on point. I didn't realize that shit. Oh, that's so dumb. Oh, we're making joint tenancy. We have 5 people invest in this property. We're going to separate it, each one with joint tenancy. Why are we doing that? We all own the property until we decide who gets what. Technically, everybody's name should appear on all of it. And it should be filed under tenancy in common so that you do have an asset to leave to your children. If that's what you're talking about, the whole estate question or whatever. That's so dumb. That is so dumb, Parma. I'm sorry. That is so dumb. Megan had a point. How do you even respond to some of those crazy questions that Cody was asking? Right. You know what I mean? And there's a point, like I used to say this, especially when McKelty was dating that young man and they were in high school still. And Cody brought him in and was telling him a whole bunch of foolishness. I'm telling you, as a father, if somebody is a parent or father, if I found out some dude was talking to my son about some stupid shit, me and homeboy gonna have to have a conversation. He getting pulled up. Like if somebody was talking to my son about that shit that Cody was talking, you got brain, you kiss somebody and the cells go in and it's like attacks them because you got boy germs, you got cooties. They call them cooties. And like when you hit them with the boy cooties, then all of a sudden it changes the chemistry of their brain. You will get your legs swept. Like, you don't talk that foolishness to my child, giving him misinformation. If you don't want him dating your child or you discouraging him from dating your daughter, fine. He'll be fine. He's probably better off. But you don't tell him some old stupid shit. You know what I mean? That's not why he went over there. He went over there with his friend. I don't even, like, especially at like 15, 16 years old, he's not looking for a wife. Okay? You ain't back on the compound. He ain't looking for a wife. They're developing a friendship. They're learning they're exploring their themselves and hopefully not their sexuality like 14, 15, but they're exploring their relationship boundaries so that they can understand themselves and where they fall. Let them have this time before the demands of adult level relationships, which are a higher form of relationship. There are different expectations when you're dating somebody at 16, 17 versus when you're dating somebody at 24, 23, 24 years old. The expectations are different and you have to prepare them for that. But what you're not going to do is sit there and tell my son a bunch of foolishness and be asking him dumbass questions like he going to get like, no. I don't want you gave her a knife and to defend against you because you going to protect her against yourself? What? I don't know. But yeah, let's go to Malia. What's going on, Malia? How you doing?
Hi, James.
That gets you correct. Did I say it right?
Malia, yes.
Awesomeness. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So you kind of touched on a little bit of what I was going to ask about. Sorry, let me get situated. I was cooking dinner. So you touched a little bit on when Mary was criticizing Christine about how she deeded the property over. It was my understanding that she just kind of took her name off of the property instead of fighting the battles for everybody else. So Mary had that little slight to throw in there towards her. And I just thought, it reminded me of the time when Mary decided to go ahead and divorce Cody and not say anything to the rest of the wives until it was done and say, by the way, I divorced Cody. So which was worth a lot more money in the long run.
Right.
that change. I don't know if you touched on it and I missed it, so I'm very sorry if I'm just saying
No,
something
no.
somebody else said.
I think.
But
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I thought that's really rich coming from you at that point, thinking, um, you know, you completely restructured the entire family and you spoke
Mm,
to no one about it until it was already done as a gift, and obviously just to get back into his good graces. But you didn't talk to the other two. You didn't talk to Christina or Janelle about it until it was
mm.
done.
Right, right. Or even that you were thinking about doing it, which is
Right.
which in contrast, I agree 100% because that directly affected the family and the family structure. And not only were you giving up your legal rights, which would be the inheritance and everything of that nature, but you were passing it off, you were passing over two other wives to give it to the final wife, who would then be able to adopt all said power and control in the event of something that happened to Cody. Like if Cody passed away or he was somehow incapacitated, Robin would be making family decisions herself. And it would go to fall to her. So that would directly affect the entire family. One, two, with regard to the transfer of the property, uh that I think that Christine, she could have fought to get the other, if she was so inclined, she could have fought to try to get the other two women's names added to the property to make it more equitable. It would have, as we kind of talked over with Sharon, because of the structure that the deed was in. Like I was under full impression that it was under tenancy in common, which would allow her to give the property to whoever she wanted. Like that's the one that gives you the most freedom with disposition of the property in that respect. But joint tenancy is insane. Like it never occurred to me because it's insane that they would even do it that way. Because the property itself would revert back to Cody and Robin. And the only way that they could change it really to give it to add Mary or Mary or Janelle is to have Cody and Robin's permission to add them. And clearly, if they're trying to steal the property, they're not trying to add anybody else to the pot. And that would upset the balance because that would give Mary more land, and it would give Janelle almost equal land to Robin. Her land ownership to Robin would be rival at that point. So they would have to agree to that. Like it's just I don't know. I don't know. And I think that one of the sad parts is that the family culture in this was pretty much everybody for themselves. And so when Christine got out, it was just reflective of the fact that she was, right, wrong, or indifferent. She was looking out for herself on the way out.
Well, I think she just didn't want to fight anybody else's battles too. She was just done. She
Right.
wanted out. And, you know, at that time they were all still with him. So in theory, if they're still his equal wives, then he would take care of them equally, and that's not her burden to bear.
Right. Well, theoretically, that's true. But we know that
Theoretically.
he wasn't.
No,
But at the
not at
same
all.
time, although I not talk against, but I don't give a whole heaping uh chapter and verse to the credence of how they were raised. The reality of it is that she was doing what she could do at the time. So it took a lot for her to leave the family, and it took a lot for her to fight to stand up and say, "No, I'm not going to give you any equity in my house." And that's where she was fighting her battles. And so for her, that would have just been one battle, unnecessary battle that she would have had to engage in order to try to get Christine or Mary and Janelle added to the property to be fair to them. But ultimately, like I said, brass tacks in it, she doesn't get a benefit from that. Like
No,
she doesn't
and
benefit. It's a
well, you
problem.
know, historically they've done very well with him too. I've heard somebody else point out how Mary has historically fought her own battles just fine, where she got equal pantry money for the groceries when she
Mhm.
had one child. and everybody else had 6 or 7. So,
Right.
they're like, well, can she fight her own battle for the land? Sure. She's fought plenty of battles. She got the equal size house, even bigger, even better than everybody else. She had all the upgrades and everything. So it's like, can she speak up for herself when she wants something? Yeah, historically, yes, she can.
Right. Right. Well, because I think that's the weird part about it is that I think she has I think they all had the ability to fight with regard to her getting the pantry money and the bigger house, because that's what it was. Right. Mary was able to get a bigger house. That was Cody's house too. So that even though it was Mary, at the end of the day, that was Cody's house. So yeah,
Well,
Mary got the bigger house.
well, if you're going to build out a cul-de-sac, you want all the houses to be about the same value. It's just
Right.
true.
Well, I mean, it's like Mary and Robin had the 2 nicer houses of the 4. And again, when we say it's like this person designate the ownership of the houses, we always have to keep in mind, like the McMansion, that wasn't Robin's house, that was Cody's house. The shit show chateau Cinder Palace that they just moved into, that's Cody's house. That's not Robin's, that's Cody's house. And so when they're building these houses up, Robin's house was nice and finished. The backyard was completely done in Vegas because that's where Cody was spending his time, and he added his name to that house. So he was beautifying his home, his investment. When he bought the house from Mary, even though she had 1 child, part of the reason why she was successful in getting the bigger house was because Cody's name at that time, that was the only house that Cody's name appeared on.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't
Okay.
that she was winning. It was just the fact that, Cody was benefiting from it. So that's why he went along with it. That's not taken away at all from your position or your point that Mary does have the ability to advocate for herself. And she has advocated for herself very strongly. But even in regard to that goes again more to what I was saying, is this being the culture of the family. It's everybody for themselves. Everybody was fighting and scrapping to try to get their little corner of their piece. And when Christine was on her way out, it would have went against the culture of the family for her to say, you know what, I'm going to create a whole shit show between me and Cody because I'm going to try to be fair to these other women, because it would have, like, whether we like it or not, it would have created a major problem because he was already pissed off that he couldn't get any of her house money. So he would have fought her like a dog over that Cowdy Pass dog. He'd have fought her crazy over the ownership of Cowdy Pass. Like, she'd have tried to, I'm gonna put Mary, you gonna do what? You know what I mean? And then he would have lost his mind, and then she would have had to deal with I think she was just trying to get out at that point. She was just trying to get out. And I'm not mad. I wish she would have did a little differently, because I'm petty. But at the same time, I understand why she did what she did the way she did it. I can appreciate that.
There was one other thing, and please stop me if it's already been talked about. Like I said, I'm sorry, I was cooking dinner and everything else.
No
But
worries.
so obviously when Aurora came up and had the discussion about Brody with Robin and Cody, it was very staged. It was clearly something that they're gonna, we're gonna film this, we're gonna film it here, and we're gonna talk about XYZ. So, Rob, that the lead into that they decided upon was, should we save these things for grandkids? And then she walks up and goes, what? Grandkids? And oh, well, don't worry. There's no pressure on you. We have other children, don't forget.
Right.
Well, at this time, he has like 6 grandkids.
Yeah.
Alive and well. And he has probably 7, if not 8, or the 8th on the way by now. So he has many, many, many grandkids.
Right.
And so clearly he's just talking about him and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
But he's pretending that the other 6 don't even exist.
Right.
And I had to pause it and rewind. And my poor husband, I make him watch with me. And I said, what? Because we had the first grandchild. for my parents, and it's such a big deal. And my dad that's his whole world. And I couldn't ever imagine him talking about her like she doesn't even exist. Like, don't worry, there's no pressure on you because we have other kids that can give us grandkids. Well, you have 6 grandkids.
Right, right.
My jaw I couldn't, I just couldn't even imagine.
Right, right. Well,
But they
it's
staged it. They thought about it. They planned it out, and they're like, "This is how we're gonna say it."
yeah, but it's one of those things too where if especially if you're having a conversation, you should talk to your kids. Like I always encourage, talk to your kids about stuff, be open with them, and be honest about what you relate to them. But at the same time, you don't if they just start dating somebody, I'm not pressing marriage. I'm not pressing kids. You're still getting to know them. They're still getting to know you. If you start off the relationship, he just asked if I would be his girlfriend. When y'all gonna have grandbabies? Yeah, no pressure there. You know what I mean? No pressure. And you surprised when they come in, you walk in on them screwing. Like, come on now. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like you're presenting this like it's a viable thing. You're putting it on the table. Don't put it on the table. You know what I mean? Let them figure it out. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Like it pushing people along. I don't, if you want to have kids, if that's something, I want to be a grandparent, I guess, ultimately with my kids, but I'm not pushing anybody to have children. That's a decision that they and their partner are going to have to make for themselves. I'm not dictating anybody's womb or what they do as far as their reproduction. They have to figure out what's good for their family, and I'll support them in whatever decision they make. Obviously I have my wishes and my hopes, but what I want, I'm not going to be the one raising them. Let's put it where it is. I'm not going to be the one raising them. It's not my responsibility. It's on them. They're going to have to do it. So they need to figure out whether they want to do it or not, and they're nowhere
Yeah.
in the stages where they need to be talking about children.
Oh, absolutely. No, Aurora's not in the stage at all to be talking about children, just now dating this guy. It just
Right.
the way that he alluded, just pretending because he's in front of Robin that like, oh, we have no grandkids. Well, you do, she doesn't.
Mm,
So then throwing we don't have it's just kind of like, I understand because it would bring up a raw topic in front of her to be like, oh, I have grandbabies.
right.
Essentially she does not because they don't talk to her.
Right.
So I see why he wants to kind of live in this little bubble of like, we have other kids, meaning like Brianna, Dayton, Solomon, and Ariana. Like we have other kids. We're not pressuring you, obviously, because you're in a new relationship, but he's also pretending that he doesn't have 6 others out
Right.
there.
Right.
And it's really, I think, a really hurtful. It could be. I mean, I would be hurt
Mm,
to pretend, just acting like they don't even exist for the sake of protecting Robin, of trying not to just rub that in her face, be like, well, you don't have grandbabies yet, but I have 6 because I had 3 wives. It's like, I get it, but obviously if it's this type of show, we know where you came from, and he's just completely trying to erase them in a very hurtful way to everybody else as well.
mm.
And it's yeah, just as one of the daughters that would have the grandbabies, I would be so furious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that and the fact that if that's the calculus that he's using, that Robin doesn't have any grandbabies, then he shouldn't expect to have any grandchildren until Saul and Ari start having children. Because technically, Brianna, Aurora, and Dayton aren't his kids either. The same way, the other 13 kids aren't hers, those 3 aren't his.
He
You know,
did legally adopt them.
right. But it's not,
So technically he might have more legal
he would have more legal obligation.
to
But if,
them over the rest, because he was on the birth certificate for all of Janelle's, but not Christine's.
Well, she said in the book that she was, and that's the crazy
No,
thing.
I didn't read. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the book, she said for years she said she didn't have them on the birth certificate, and that's how the fan base operated from that position. But she later went back in the book and said that he added their names to the birth certificates. So it's like a contradiction of the terms. But at the end of the day, if we're just going by biological, and because he's using the calculus of these kids aren't yours because technically they were spiritually married and in their faith. So those would be her kids through the spiritual marriage because they were she joined the family in a spiritual marriage and all that other stuff. But all of a sudden now, because you don't get along with them, they aren't your kids. Then because they're not biologically your kids, these aren't your biological grandkids. So you don't have grandkids. Then if that's what matters, then using that same calculus, Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna wouldn't provide grandkids to Cody either. It's the
I
same
suppose not.
calculus,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying if you're saying that you're taking these kids in, which if you're a grandparent or a bonus parent or that kind of thing, I think those are your kids. You marry a woman, she has kids, those are your kids too. They're your responsibility too. So you share in the good times, you share in the bad times. You share. If they go to jail, you get to split the bail money with whoever. And if they have children, you get to be a grandparent. You get to love on them like they're your grandkids. Hopefully that's what you do. You take advantage of that. But if you're going to get into the whole, well, biologically they not mine, so I'm not going to acknowledge them because they're not yours, and I don't want to make you feel bad. That's too much for me. That's too much. And I'm
I think that's what's
definitely not going
happening, but yeah,
to cut my
it's no.
kids off because you know what I mean. Because you don't feel comfortable. You married into the family when I had kids. It's not like we were married for 30 years, and all of a sudden, so we got to knock at the door. You my daddy. Like then everybody gets to be surprised, angry, and you try to figure out how you fit into the situation. You came into the relationship and I already had kids. And this is what it is. They grew up, they got married, they had children of their own. I'm a grandparent. Deal with it. But I agree with you.
I wish he would. And then, Brody showed up and bless him. I hope it works out well.
Right.
He seems so nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's nice, at least the way he comes off. He seemed very respectful. He didn't say anything. Like he handled a lot of those questions, I think, very well. Because they were like left field questions that
A
I'm
lot
not
of it was
sure if
like
there was any right
overseen.
answers. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to treat you with respect. The fact that he didn't say, what are you talking about? Are you nuts? Like the fact he didn't do that and tried to answer the questions, that shows like how respectful he was as far as his approach to Cody and Robin.
And
So
his first time filming, he's got cameras on him, and then Cody's being all squirrely. It's got to be so uncomfortable for this poor guy.
yeah. Because he's trying to set an example for him. But
he reminded me so much of my coworker who is just, he looks similar, but he's a structural engineer, and I'm just like, oh, he's like the perfect candidate out there. But
right.
oh my gosh, I just, just as soon as I saw him, it just reminded me of that, and I just,
Say, I know
I
that
want to be a matchmaker so bad. I tell you what.
There you go.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I
No
appreciate it.
worries. Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. That was Malia, guys. Next up, we're gonna bring up Caramel Cuties because I know she was hot to try this Sunday. I gotta work her in. What's going on, Caramel Cuties? How you doing?
I done got kicked out of SpeakPipe about 4 or 5 times already. I was just waiting.
Oh wow. Oh no.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah, this commute is a lot, but hey, I'm getting through it.
There you go.
Yeah, this ain't making no sense to me. The fact that Malia brought up a point that utterly irks the dog stink out of me, and that is the fact that Cody with Robin swears up and down like his only kids are hers. And that ain't the case. dude, like, you got umpteen kids and umpteen grandkids, or did you forget? And the fact that you're like, oh, ho, 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 we're no pressure for you. First and foremost, the fact that Aurora is so just, like, the immaturity level at 22, 23 is beyond me. The whole innocent kid act is like, I'm over it. Can we not? Can it never be on my TV again? Nothing against, like I said, the children themselves, but they playing the game right along with their mama and their daddy. And at the end of the day, if you are an adult and you want to play the game on TV, you are fair game for the rest of us to talk shit. So, with that being said, Brody, run. Blink twice if you need help, because baby, it reminded me of the episode of Get Out. Like, you gave her a knife in case she needs to stab you. Like, all of that just sounded like a bunch of BS to me. And I could have went another 46 years of life without ever seeing that stupid shit. I'm sorry. Pardon my French. But, yeah, Cody needs his ass whooped. Robin needs her ass whooped. And at this point, so do the kids, the adult kids. Maybe even the young kids. Hell, it don't matter. Everybody can catch a fade, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. They annoy the living smack out of me, and I can't figure out why I even allow it to bother me as much as it does. And, the whole Mary, like, I like the point that Malia brought up with Mary didn't give a damn to inform anybody of her thought process, her plan, because she knew, let's keep it real, Janelle and Christine would have talked her out of it. On the strength of, it did change the whole outlook of the family. Did Christine want them kids in the family? Of course she did. Or she played a good game as to looking like she did. But, I mean, I genuinely feel like she wanted them in the family. But to the detriment of him legally marrying Robin and changing the fact, like you said, if Cody were to have an accident and be on life support, it would be Robin making those decisions. And we all know she wouldn't have consulted with no damn body outside of her own immediate family to be like, should I keep him alive? Should I kill him? You know what I mean? The hell with the rest of his kids. This is what me and my kids want and need. And Christine said it from the gate. Janelle said it even then. She made a joke about it being about taxes, but at the end of the day, they all knew. Once Mary legal divorced him and he fully married Robin, chalk it up. Everything else was a done deal. Like, and then I don't know much about real estate, so I learned something new today. But being as it may, however the deal was for Coyote Pass, I strongly feel like Christine, she was like, let me get what I need to get and get the hell up out of here. And if it screws somebody else over, so be it. Y'all grown, figure it out for yourself. I don't think Janelle was tripping because her name was on one of the larger parcels any damn way. Plus, Janelle was the one hinting to Christine, to leave once you got all your financial stuff situated any damn way. So the only one who had a problem with Christine not signing over the property to Mary was Mary.
Right.
Maybe you should have been nicer to her then, Bo.
Well,
been a salty birch against Christine for years. So.
Well, because I think that there's also the point too where, even under the model that I talked about, the cultural model where it was everybody looking out for themselves, even in that situation, Mary, you knew for years that you were only on 1/3 of one property. You knew for years. So the second he came home with that property and rolled it out and said, guys, this is what I did, you should have lost your shit then.
That part.
You
but
know
no,
what I mean?
She tried to stay in Cody's good graces. She was queen of kissing the arse back then, so she I don't think anybody felt like Cody would genuinely screw them over for the sake of Robin at the end of the day. But he wasn't, at the fact that he convinced y'all to sell them homes in Vegas and move to Flagstaff to be in rentals all over again. And when Robin got McMansion #1, Y'all should have known then it was a wrap.
Right, right. Well, if you didn't know Cody was using you for money or would take advantage of you, frankly, you weren't paying attention.
That part.
You
You
know what
couldn't
I
have
mean?
been, pardon my French, because it's coming out, y'all. They all couldn't have been that stigmatized over Cody
Right,
to know that he was taking them for a ride all these years. And
right.
then to fast forward him having the conversation about intimacy and whatever else and claiming yet again he was chased before he married Robin. The way my neighbors heard me yell bullshit, yeah, nah, dog. The picture you said it while you're all standing in front of in your living room says otherwise. The
Oh,
fact that you were that comfortable kissing Robin while Christine was in labor on film, mind you, says,
mhm.
I mean, Christianity don't say you can't kiss the church. I don't necessarily know what the AUB's booklet is on being chaste or dating or courting for that matter, but I'm pretty sure driving hours every weekend to go see your boo thing while you got 3 wives at the house is not a part of the plan.
Right. And here's
Cody
my
really wants us to believe that him and her were shy and not doing things, but I beg to differ.
because here's my question. When he was driving 6 hours, because like I said earlier, I'm a grown ass man, Doc. Been a grown ass man for a long time. And I don't know anybody. And maybe maybe I hang out with a bunch of heathens. But I don't know anybody who's driving 6 hours for a woman. And they going over there to sit on the couch watching Netflix. I don't know anybody. Not every week. Not every week. For months. You driving out for 6 hours. My question is, where you sleeping, cuz? And when you doing all this
That
stuff,
part.
and even if you pretend like, oh, I'm gonna be sleeping on the couch, when these kids get up and they walk down to the bathroom, they leave a little room in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or whatever at night, and they peek in and the couch is empty. Your kids know what's going on. They know what time it is. So when you sit there and tell these lies about how chaste you were, you forget you lying to people who were there when you were dating Robin. They were
Right.
sentient when you were dating her. You know what I mean? They come in, she's sitting in your lap and y'all kissing and hugging. They've seen that. So when you
Well,
sit
I
there and
mean,
tell these lies to these
we
kids,
watch
they know you lying.
we watch Robin have a baby. She can be kind of quiet, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
they
yeah.
was being heathens and nobody heard them. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he didn't take a wife with him every single weekend, and there were weekends that Maddie has admitted that none of the girls even went with him. So he was doing solo bolo trips.
Right, right. And
He
hauling
wasn't staying
ass.
at Alice. He wasn't staying at Alice and Uncle Daddy Paul's house. He wasn't getting a hotel. They could barely afford dinner.
Right.
So we know doggone well he was right laid up in the middle of the room at Robin's house. That wasn't on the couch. He was in the bed. He was too damn comfortable.
Well, like I said,
She was too comfortable.
that
Then the fact
engagement
that he
picture.
was demanding an extra night throughout the week before she even was officially a wife, that said enough to me. Like, why you already trying to get in the schedule? You not even a wife yet. Like, come on now.
Well, more poignantly, you can make the argument. He's driving 5 hours. You don't have a lot of accommodation. So the sleep schedule is the sleep schedule. He has to stay there for 3 nights because it's so far and this, that, and other. Maybe you can make that argument and make it make sense. It doesn't make sense if you live down the street around the corner for him to be spending the night at your house before you're married if you guys ain't doing shit. Because if
Right.
he's just spending time with the kids because he's trying to assimilate into the family with the kids, he doesn't have to be there at 3 a.m. for the kids, yo. And this is like the when you have parents who are co-parenting,
Mhm.
the non-custodial parent doesn't have, like, if you're calling to talk to the kids at midnight or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not calling to talk to the dang on kids. Stop pulling the kids into it. That's a booty
So
call.
if you coming to visit the kids after 10 o'clock at night, whether
Right,
it's a weekend or a school night, you not coming to see the kids.
right,
You
right.
going to go knock some boots and remember some stuff.
You putting them down. Like I said, we not new. We not new.
Far from it.
You know, maybe y'all knew. We knew this way though.
He think his whole fan base is just LDS folks, and that's not the case.
Right.
UK bullshit a bullshitter, and
Right.
most of us are bullshitters. So at the end of the day, I don't know. Like, we got a Christmas scene, and we not even at the Christmas season yet. We ain't even hit Halloween. I just feel like Cody and Robin don't have a storyline. Of course, they're trying to feed this whole wholesome family that now is on the rebound from the breakup. She's already explained how disdained she is, or distant from. She don't even call herself like an ex-sister wife. Now it's Cody's exes. So she's already detached herself from the situation. I ain't heard her mention McKelty, grandkids, none of his kids, as if she gives a flying foot nanny about any of them anymore. And it's, it's her kids and only her kids, and it's innocent as it is, and oh, dad this and mom that, and I could throw up in my mouth. Like, I'm over it. I'd rather watch an episode of MASH than watch this crap. But I hold on week after week and designate that hour to tell my kids don't bother me. Sister Wives is on, with hopes that it's gonna get better, and it just gets worse and worse. Like, I thought the whole ear piercing episode was bad in season 19, but then it got me thinking as I rewatched a few episodes. Aurora's been had her ears pierced. Like, she came into the family with her ears pierced. And so to hear, like, even her announcements and how she's like, remember that guy I've been dating? Well, like, the breath that she gave, like, she's so nervous to tell her parents she has a boyfriend. And I look at my own kid, who is 22, mind you, a college graduate, freshly on the job, and she's also a virgin. Ooh, she'd kill me if she knew I told you guys this, so please don't, y'all know her, don't say nothing. But she talks to guys, she dates, she's out here, clubbing. She just went back to her alma mater for homecoming for a week. Like, she's living her life, having fun as a 22-year-old with no responsibility should be. Respectfully, like, you know what I'm saying? She calls and checks in as she should, but to act like she's still 12 years old mentally, like, there's nothing cute about that. And it makes me wonder, what the hell is Brody thinking? Or maybe she's only doing it for the cameras because she's not like that off camera. But if you're turned on by an emotionally stunted, immature 22-year-old, he kind of gives me pedo vibes, if that's the case.
Right.
And not to label him, because I don't know him. So y'all don't take it to that extreme. But I don't know. I question a few things, just because on film, when they're being filmed by the show, they definitely come across like the young, innocent, pure, never go anywhere. Oh my gosh, we've only secluded to homeschool and church, as if they're not allowed to have a life. But then I realized Robin's their mother. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? If she could keep them young and in Cody's face longer, then he's going to be more interested and stick around and not start treating her kids like he treats his natural kids. But it's only a matter of time before it happens, because Cody wants to be the center of attention. And God forbid, if your daughters are dating, you're not the center of their world no more. Whoever they're dating is. You get what I'm saying? And so eventually he's going to need a new brood of folks to honor him and put him first and put him in the middle. Because it's a parent. Robin don't like that man. She loves what he brings to her. She loves what he provides. She don't like that man. You can see it. It's all over her face.
That's why she did shy in the same way.
She ain't shy. Far from it. not the chick at the dinner party who was slamming chairs and tables around.
Well, I'm saying
Not
that
the chick who don't make me a victim, sweetie. She ain't fucking shy. Pardon my French.
well, because I think that I think I think I think Malia hit a point where she was talking about like the shy innocent wife. The reason why she's shy is because she's not trying to do shit with Cody, and that's how he gets his
That
mind
part.
around it. So it's not that
Yeah,
she
I can
doesn't want
see
to
that.
mess with me. It's just that she's so shy and innocent that she doesn't want to do all this freaky stuff that I want to do. Not recognizing the fact she just don't want to do it with you.
Now I wonder, has she always been like that though? Because, let some folks tell it. Cody used to brag big time about all the freaky stuff Robin would do behind the bedroom doors. So I'm wondering, has she lightened up since she's been the main one that's been getting it with Cody? Or, not that I even want to imagine their sex life. Trust me, I don't. But why she had other wives to somewhat pick from, she didn't have to do much. And it kind of reminds me of Big Love, and I'm bad with the wife's name, but you have the one wife that was playing the game with the birth control and trying to get him to come over and make a baby with her, knowing she didn't want to have no more kids. They had sex one way, but then the younger wife was getting extra freaky deaky with him. And when the other wife found out, she was like, nah, we doing it missionary style. The regular way is the only way. And it
Right.
got me thinking, like, that's probably Cody with some of the wives. Like, Janelle probably was swinging from banisters and stuff. Like, don't let the weight fool you. Big girl probably get it. Because, she always said they had a great sex life, nothing to worry about.
Right.
Whereas, I think Mary, after a while, was probably just the main one to be like, yeah, just rub my feet, give me a massage, and go to bed, and she won't complain. And he tried to pull that with Christine, and Christine stopped having it. But I don't know. Was Robin always the freaky wife, or she was the freaky wife to get him, and then once she got him, she pulled back? Who knows? But that's just my take from Sunday's show. It irks me because they really think we're fools and we're gonna fall for the okey doke that they keep portraying week after week. I don't see much of dragging out the storyline of Coyote Pass. We already know it's sold. We already know that they each got their names put on before it's sold. How much longer are they going to keep dragging this out?
Mm.
It's not
Yeah,
entertaining.
I just don't think they have much story left. I just don't think they have much story left. So
don't.
it's a money grab at this point. But I appreciate you calling in, Caramel Cuties. Thank you so much. I appreciate your perspective.
I appreciate you week after week, James, for sure.
You be safe getting home.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Hey, I'm around the corner. I done made it home.
There you go.
Bye.
All right. Another mission complete. Next up, we have Brittany, not Brittany, in the house. What's going on, Brittany? How you doing?
Okay, there we go. Hey, how are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Say, give me a one if you can hear me, right?
Right. Like you. I just knew that there was two more people before me, so I was just like, I'm just be playing my games. Like I'm either playing games or I'm eating whenever you pull me up. So that I'm always just like, oh Lord, I feel scramble.
I'm finally winning, yeah.
Right. But just to piggyback on a lot of the points that were made. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up my notes. So oh no, where was I? I got too many notes, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, so as far as so y'all were talking about the way they did the plots and the way everything was divvied up, and they had that really dumb setup legally with the, I'm gonna kill the terminology, but it was the joint
joint
something.
tenancy.
Yes, there we go. and like how dumb it was. And honestly, I think it was purposeful. I
Oh
think
yeah.
it was purposeful because Cody, anytime, even now, um, the wives or all of the ex-wives plus Robin would talk about, they asked Cody about why he did it that way. And he was just like, I don't know. I don't know. And even Cody now is just like, I don't know. I just put something down. No, you didn't. Like, you did. This was purposeful. This was purposeful. I feel like he went to whoever his lawyer was and he asked what would be the most beneficial way for him,
Mm,
because he knew that he was having problems with Christine. He
right.
knew he was having problems with Mary. And, like he had to sit up there and fake go on dates with her to get her to move to Arizona in the first place. So I think he knew that it was a possibility that the women would leave, which was why he put both Christine and Mary on lots of land with his other two loyal wives, you know,
Right.
or loyal at the time. And then as far as Cody giving this whole lecture about, like how to protect a woman and, like kissing and the hormones and everything, like whatever nonsense he was saying. If I was a parent, I would be mad at Cody because one, because he's giving misinformation, but two, because like you're not gonna sit up there and act like my child shouldn't be kissing your child when I can for sure see all the bumps on you and Robin's face.
Hmm.
That's why our kids don't need to be kissing. It
Right.
has nothing to do with, you know, my child probably falling in love with your child. It's because y'all, whatever.
Y'all passed
It's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Like I know 1 in 3, whatever the statistic is, it's fine. It doesn't make you a bad person. But for Cody and Rob, well, mainly for Cody talking about it, it's just like why are we even why are you saying this? It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense. And Christine said that in her book that Cody reads the comments. Cody knows that when he gave that lecture to McKelty that the audience didn't like it. So why he would go and have that same conversation or a similar conversation all over again on television is beyond me.
Right. Right. Well, actually, it was like the conversation part two or part
Hmm.
two, where
Right.
it was similar, but he didn't get his. It wasn't as stupid, but it was just, well, no, strike that, redirect. It was stupid, just as stupid. It was just dumb in a different way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He tried to clean up one part of it, but in
Hmm.
cleaning that up, he just messed up another part of it because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
You know.
And then another thing I've been thinking about, how Cody and Robin, how like they really like to play the victim. And you were talking about that at the beginning of the show.
Mm,
And I feel like I would love to see a timeline of when Cody left the AUB and when he started like playing the victim, like him versus his family. Because in, and this is going to get kind of like religious, theological. I'm sorry, but this is kind of what it is. It's like a lot of, especially like the hyper, like uber conservative, like uber conservative Christian, like, very puritanical, evangelical type Christians. There is, and they get it from the Bible, that there is this um need to be oppressed because Jesus was oppressed.
mm,
And, to be like Jesus, you have to be oppressed. And so for Cody, he's in the AUB, which from the perspective of like just being a polygamist, he's oppressed for having all of these wives and all of these kids, and he's a victim. But then he leaves the AUB and he can't be oppressed by his faith or victimized or oppressed for his faith, because now they live in Las Vegas. Nobody cares what you do in Las Vegas. Like,
right.
yeah, live and let live. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So the only way that he can be a victim or be oppressed is by his family. And so now all of a sudden, his wives and his kids are keeping him from, living the life that he wants to live with the love of his life at Robin's house. And then, the women leave. So, and they don't care. They very clearly do not care about Cody. And now he's being oppressed and victimized by the viewers. And they just hate a good love story.
Right, right. Yeah, I think his victimhood just kind of lives and dies in a place where if he receives any criticism, it's the equivalent of the and to be honest with you, it's kind of weird to me when people say, "Oh, you disagree with me? Oh, you just a hater."
Right.
Yeah, it feels like that to me it just sounds immature. Like, "Oh, you're a hater because you disagree with me." That's where I see Cody at. If you
Yes.
disagree with him, you're just a hater, you know.
Yeah. Which is like it's crazy because it goes to like his level of quote unquote celebrity.
Mm,
And you were talking about Kathy Griffith, and is it Kathy Griffith? Did I say the right last name?
yes, yeah.
Yes, okay. Um and even Kathy like referred to herself as a D-list celebrity. She's like,
Right.
I'm not really popular. Cody would call himself a B-list celebrity. The only reason why he wouldn't say A is because he doesn't have any movie deals. But let him get a Tubi movie and he would absolutely say that he's an A-list celebrity.
Right. A movie he produced himself.
Right.
Wrote, directed, starred Cody Brown. You know?
Yes.
That thing will go 10.
Like the Tyler Perry of the AUB.
Right, right,
Just
right.
like what are we doing? Which also leads me into his acting skills. So I know we all like talk about how scripted him and Robin and their kids' conversations are. It For me it was really highlighted in the episode where they were moving. I think maybe it was last week or maybe the week before when they were moving and one of the producers asked them how they felt moving without all the rest of the family. And you could tell that the producer like was on one that day and didn't give them a heads up that they were going to ask him that
Yeah.
because they were like, what do we say? What do you say? We didn't rehearse this answer. I don't know. And now y'all look stupid because the only way y'all can be on TV, for some reason, the only way you can be on reality TV is to be scripted,
Right, right.
which is crazy. In which case, why are we watching you? Why are we
Yeah,
like at this point? I either need a spinoff show or just cancel the show, and I will get all my tea from. I may start getting my tea from McKelty because McKelty has been like really, really talking her shit. Her and Tony on their Patreon. They have really been.
yeah, yeah.
They've
They've been
been.
kind of going in heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just like I said, it's the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
is to when we watch Sister Wives, we have to recognize that right now they used to have a thing back in the day called pilot season,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in pilot season, that's basically when they try to shop out new shows. Some
Right.
folks might not be familiar. If you're a Gen Xer, you probably definitely understand what pilot season is. Not so much new because they don't really do pilots anymore. They don't really have new shows that dump a bunch of money in.
Right.
Um, but that's what we're watching. We're watching Sister Wives pilot season. So you have the segmented sections of Mary with Jen. That's
Mm-hmm.
one show. Cody, Robin, and her kids. That's the second show. Christine and David. That's the third show. And then, of course, Janelle with all the kids and the grandkids. That's the fourth show.
Mm-hmm.
And then there might be a crossover, kind of like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley with Cody and I don't even know if you know who Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days are, but it'll be kind of that thing. So you have like two groups that exist in the same universe, and then somehow they kind of wind up on each other's show. That's all that
Right.
is. But at the end of the day, they're trying to see how people are responding to what they saw like on Sunday or this season for them to determine who's going to get their own show and who they're going
Mm-hmm.
to roll with. That's all this is, you know. And I
Yep.
just don't think it's going to work because some of these shows are just turning like it's just their segments are kind of dry,
It is.
you know.
I honestly think, truthfully, at this point, I think Jamel might be the only one who should get a show
Mm,
because Christine doesn't do anything but like talk about going to see Janelle with David.
right.
That's her whole thing is like she drives over to be with David, and to be with Janelle, and she's like, well, I'm not moving anywhere for my kids, which is fair, but okay, but I don't want to just see you and David.
Right.
I
Well, I
like
mean,
I
even in
like them
watching that
too.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
watching the new blossoming relationship, you have to put some pepper on it. It can't just be you
Yes.
sitting around talking about how awesome your relationship is and how you guys are soulmates and how it was never this way. You didn't know it was going to be this way when you did monogamy. Like you weren't like in here, and I want to be very clear about this. When
Mm-hmm.
she talks about like polygamy, and I think this might be me being on one, like just for this whole subject matter. Polygamy versus monogamy, lady, you weren't a polygamous or a monogamous. You was just alone.
By
Let's be honest.
yourself. By
You
yourself.
yeah, you
By
were
yourself.
you was alone.
Even by your own words on your wedding night,
Mm,
you were alone
yeah,
from the beginning. I don't and that's no shot to her because that's a Cody thing, and the way he set his family up. But it's just like I can't you now after 17 seasons of trying to say that they are the moral high ground for being polygamous, because even though they didn't talk about their religion like per se in explicit details, they did portray themselves to be holier than all the rest of us.
mm,
And now you sit up here and you turn around and go, oh my God, guys, did you know that polygamy is really hard?
yeah. Polygamy's hard, or it's not even so much hard. Look, you the stuff that she's talking about. Oh, I got to think about a man when I do this because before when I had Cody, I was pretty much independent and I could do whatever I wanted. Blah blah blah. That's because you were alone. You
Mm-hmm.
were by yourself. There was just a dude coming by your house, staying at your house, knocking you off, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe patting your kids on the head a couple times. You were basically by yourself. This is like when she's talking about her revelations as far as like this newly minted monogamous. You're just a person who just had this is your first boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
David is your first boyfriend. Well, maybe not your first boyfriend. Cody was just your first boyfriend. He was just a shit boyfriend. This
Correct.
is your first real relationship. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you're so amazed. This is
Mm-hmm.
just your first real relationship. And when people start, kind of piecing that together, the whole prospect of this being a show at 50 years old, finally found love, it kind of loses its luster
It,
because the stuff she's so amazed about is normal fare. Like,
right.
oh my, he opens the door for me. He pulls my chair out. He asks me if I'm okay. He'll call me during the day. Like, if he knows I'm out in the middle of the night to go do something, he'll say he wants to go with me. Or
Right.
he'll, if I don't come home and it gets really late, he might call me on the phone or text me and ask me, hey, babe, where you at? That's not monogamy. That's just a normal relationship.
This
That's
is exactly,
basic.
and it's stuff that you talk about to your girlfriend. It's not plot lines that get you thousands of dollars an episode.
Right, right,
That's where it's like I don't know, y'all are gonna have to figure something else out. And I know that like Cody and Robin are trying to, push the kids more. But for them it's also too late because it's like, okay, but you kept the kids from the spotlight, which is fair, and I don't have any issues with it. But now I don't know or care about these kids. So why are they on my screen week after week
right.
being boring like y'all? So like being born, and all for some reason all y'all are shy. Why are we on TV then?
Right, right, right.
What's
If you
it,
don't want
it
to talk
doesn't
about nothing, just don't do the show. It's fine.
right.
Like I'm not even gonna be mad. Like if any of them decided they wouldn't do the show anymore, I wouldn't even be mad at them
Mm-mm.
at this point.
Not even disappointed. Like I wouldn't even be disappointed. I'd be like, good, thank God, so I can have my Sundays back.
Right.
Because
Yeah, right.
it's wasting my time, and I feel like next season, if they have a next season, the show gonna come on at 12, 11 Central, and I just don't. I don't have it in me to be up this late. I barely have it in me for it to come on at 9 o'clock Central. Barely.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I
by the time. Hmm.
I just got a I was just looking at my like my going through my bills or whatever. And I was
Hmm.
like, I'm paying for this thing so I can watch Sister Wives on Sunday. And I'm looking at it like, why am I paying this money
Mm-mm.
for this shit show? And I can just watch it on Monday like everybody else. I'll do what TLC, and this is the part that kills me. I'll just do what TLC is asking me to do. Because
Hmm.
you guys are making it inconvenient for folks who want to watch the show.
Right.
So why am I
Like
giving you extra money?
I'm at the point where I'm probably gonna cancel it because my husband, he's a big sports guy. And first of all, let me just get mad about cable. I don't understand why you need like 5 different packages, 5 different subscriptions to watch football. I just don't. I don't understand. It's really pissing me and my homegirls off. But he's like, he was. What game was he on Sunday? He was trying to watch. I'm gonna say the wrong name, and I'm so sorry. It was Green Bay and the
Oh,
Steelers.
yes.
The Steel,
Yeah.
yes. So he was trying to watch them. We were at his parents' house, but I wanted, obviously, I'm trying to watch Sister Wives so I can be caught up, and he can't. We don't have the subscription here for it, so now I'm just like, I might as well just cancel Philo, however you say it, and just go ahead and let him have his
His NFL package.
yes, his full blown NFL package, so that way, he can watch that, because I really don't. I only have this $30 subscription for Sister Wives, and it's boring.
Right. Right. Yeah, I might tap out. And I'm looking at that bill. I'm like, and how
I don't
much
know.
TV do I watch on this channel? Really? Like, you know what I mean? Because I stopped watching 90 Day Fiance. Like, this is my
Mm-hmm.
last run with them. As soon as they finish Happily Ever After, I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with them. I refuse to do other way because they're essentially like TLC has started the format where they're trying to make their reality stars social media stars.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coalescing all their storylines around their storylines, and their coverage on people who are trying to establish a social media presence so that they can boost the shows. And by in essence, they're not trying to boost the stories, they're just trying to boost the characters or
Mm-hmm.
the cast members. And there's a substantive difference. You know what I mean? Because the story, like half the time, the storylines don't match, they don't line
Right.
up, they don't make sense. The the characters, they just kind of come with things out of nowhere. That shit doesn't make sense. So it's just I don't what am I watching? So
Mm-mm. It's just, yeah, all around, all around. What are we doing?
right.
What are we doing here? Which saddens me, because I like to come in and know what's going on so I can chit chat with everybody. But at this point, I'm just like, you know what? For the rest of the season, I'll just make sure nobody getting out of pocket in the comments, and figure out, and just listen to y'all say what happened in the episode, because I got bills to pay, and like the government is shut down. So I don't like, what are we
Right.
in this economy? Quite literally, y'all are TLC and the Sister Wives, they're asking way too much.
Yeah, for you, especially for you to be playing in my face. Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, it's not even like you're not even really providing entertainment. And again, if I want to watch a scripted show, and I even draw a line on this. Part of one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that kind of one of my epiphanies with, 90 Day was the fact that it's an hour and a half. I am
Mm-hmm.
not watching an hour and a half scripted reality show. If I want to watch an hour and a half show, that's a movie. And I can
Right.
watch trained actors
Mm-hmm.
with a developed script, cohesive script, and I can understand and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I mean, technically, I can watch the Tubi shit, the Tubi originals for free.
For free.
And I don't have to, you know what I mean? And it'll be better acting, better storylines. I don't have to sit here and get all crazy with it because it is what it is and be done with it. I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
spend what I'm spending to watch a bunch of like people who just expect you to spend money. Cause I keep hearing that one of my pet peeves, just so you guys know. I keep hearing back when they launched the Sister Wives Closet online store,
Mm-hmm.
the family just sitting there saying, I don't understand why y'all not just spending your money. Cause it's junk.
Cause it's
You
for what?
Yeah, you expect me to buy trash just
It's
to make
gaudy,
your life
ugly stuff.
better? Come on now.
Again, this is y'all playing in our faces from like season 6, whenever it came out. Is it's like y'all been playing in our faces, and at least y'all were entertainingly playing in our faces. Now, what? Why am I spending $30 a month to watch Aurora get her ears pierced?
Right,
Why?
right,
Also, one other thing, and I'm gonna let you go, is when it really, I have clinical anxiety and depression, but like whatever. The main thing is anxiety.
mhm,
So to watch Robin, because Aurora, she was washing dishes. Aurora was fine. She was fine waiting for that man to come over to the house. And here comes Robin, like, oh my God, are you nervous? Are you nervous? You're shaking. Oh my God, you're so nervous. It's like, well, I'm nervous now because you're saying that I'm nervous. Like, what?
right, right.
Leave her alone.
Are you
It's the
scared he might
same
be
thing with
breaking up with you?
right. Like
I'm
it's
gonna
the
leave you
same
to your thoughts.
the the same thing that pissed me off when they were sitting up there when they know Aurora has anxiety and they sat up there and had that conversation about the house in front of her and just egged on an anxiety attack
Right,
for
right,
for TV. Like that this is what you want me to like to root for? Y- y'all really want to like y'all want to have your little redemption arc and this is the shit that y'all do? No, get out my face, please. I really need y'all to get out my face because
right.
what is this?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's
But
crazy.
yes, that's all I had to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Yes,
much for calling in, Brittany. I appreciate you.
thanks for having me. I'll see
No
y'all in the
worries.
comments.
All right. Have a
All
good
right,
one.
you too, bye.
Bye. Awesomeness. Tanya, if you want to hit me back, she dropped out. Tanya Kata was in the house. Tanya, hit me back. I'll put you right up. Janet, what's going on? How you doing?
Hi James, what's up?
What's up?
Um, I've been listening to everything you guys are saying, and I agree with everybody who's called in and what everybody said so far. That episode though was really boring. I'm so bored. It's boring.
Right.
And I like listening to Robin like still saying, I wanted polygamy, I wanted polygamy. I think what Robin and Cody like don't have the self-awareness to know that like or not to care, I guess, that like people, the audience doesn't like when you're telling blatant lies and it's
Mm,
provable and it makes people like even if they were partly on your side or they could see your side when she's talking about wanting polygamy, you didn't though, like you never even lived with them, like you never lived with them. I mean, Christine had 6 kids, Janelle had 6 kids, they were all squished into a house together. Why did it always have to be we need a house with 6 bedrooms or we need a house with 8 bedrooms or whatever? It's like if polygamy would be like Cody kept saying he wanted that like one big house or moving to Coyote Pass, everything else, right? And it's like, what did you do for the family? Like, what did you bring to the family? Because you were coming in, you had your debt taken care of, you know, you had 3 kids. If you truly wanted to live polygamy, there is no excuse for bringing nothing to the family other than like the show, I guess, like the storyline for sure. But like, I mean, the one thing that I don't think Robin could ever make excuses for Cody for, which she tends to do a lot, I think she's very calculating and conniving, and he's just dumb and he's not a good communicator. But like when he ignored Savannah at Christmas time and didn't have any communication with them, with her, and when he didn't go to Isabel's surgery, there is no like way that she would have allowed that with her own children, even a 22-year-old. If he ignored Aurora now as an adult on Christmas, I don't think it would ever be acceptable. So how do you, if you want a polygamy and you knew he already had children, how do you justify, like, because you could say wasn't getting along with the other kids and they weren't compliant or blah, blah. Well, Savannah was, and Isabel needed surgery. And it's just that she's never provided any kind of excuse for that I've heard. And it's like, stop saying you want polygamy. Stop saying you wanted it. It really bothers me when she says it because you like it's a lie and the audience knows it's a lie because there's no proof of her doing anything other than being like the self-appointed therapist and telling other wives that they're doing wrong. But I don't know. I'm
Right.
just tired of her saying she wanted polygamy because she never. It's true, she never lived it. Christine can be annoying and stuff, and some of the stuff she says over and over again. But I think she was very correct when she said that Robin never lived polygamy, and I'm just tired of them lying. And there's no conflict to like. There's no conflict. Like nobody's talking about anything, and even when they do the tell-alls, they're not all in the same room. So the show is boring and dying mostly because there is no conflict. So, like there's no conflict there. Nobody's talking, but there's a lot of conflict like under the surface, but they're not like talking or making them answer any questions. I think that's part of the reason it's so boring, but frustrating.
Right. Well, because I think that like when she says she misses or wants polygamy, it's not that she wanted the responsibility of polygamy.
No.
I think that like the core problem that I have with the way Robin talks about polygamy is the fact that it comes from a place of immaturity.
Yeah.
Like if you could say all day, like for instance, if we were watching the show and what some of the reason why some of the fan base is annoyed with Mary is because the entire time she wanted the relationship between her and Cody to work. And she could say, I wanted it to work. I never wanted it to fail. I never wanted to be divorced. I never wanted to be separated. I never wanted to be excised from the family. I want what I want, the way I want it, when I want it, how I want it, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But there's a point of delusion that's involved if clearly that is never going to happen. I wanted the family to stay together. I wanted to live polygamy. You wanted to live polygamy the way you wanted to live polygamy. You wanted to have the big family on ready dial. When you were ready to deal with them,
Yeah.
they could come over and you could be the big polygamous family. When you didn't want to deal with them, you could put them back. The problem is people aren't sweaters.
Yeah.
You can't put a sweater on, like a sweater you can put on to make yourself comfortable. The second it gets uncomfortable or you don't really feel like dealing with it, you can put it in the closet and not have to deal with it. Relationships don't function that way. So if you wanted to have polygamy, you had to deal with these women where they were. And more to the point, you as you kind of alluded to, you have to make sure that you're taking care of and addressing their needs so that they're getting what they want and they find a benefit in being a part of this relationship. The problem they had is the women didn't have a benefit in being in this relationship. So they left.
Yeah.
And for her to sit there and keep crying about how it's not fair and how she wanted something different, that's too bad, so sad. Grow up. This is life. You don't
And
always get what you want.
yeah, like knowing how he's treating Mary, it's weird that like she wanted her, like she kept wanting her to stay. And but she knew that Cody didn't love her and she still wanted her to stay.
Mhm.
And they talked about the other wives, I think, in it, like when they were alone together, they said that they didn't, but like that's also been shown to be a lie because she talks about how Like she would say things about the other wives in their relationship with Cody. So which is it? But she's a liar. But like I think the thing is like that shows true character is like why did you want Mary to stay in that? Why?
Mhm.
Like
Well,
what's your motivation, right?
because she brought money in.
Yeah,
You know, she
selfish.
brought financing.
She didn't
So
care about their happiness and she could blame them for everything, but it's like how the hell were you okay with him not going to his daughter's surgery? That
right,
one stands out to me and I harp on it a lot, but it's like that's one that it's like certain moments stand out of somebody's character. You can pretend to be like the family therapist and like talk softly and appear to be very respectful of everybody else and caring that you just wanted the family, blah blah blah. But like if you just wanted the family, that's the family. That's his child. She went under the knife, like, and he wasn't there, and you were okay with that. It's
right.
just an example. He's responsible for what he does, but it's like she never even. She's very vocal about things she doesn't agree with frequently. People say, "Oh, shy, pretty wife," and blah blah blah, and it's like, no, she's pretty vocal, and she has been from the get go. Like she would demand things that the other ones wouldn't even think of demanding. So it's not true that she wouldn't like. It's the way she asked. I think you had mentioned that before in like another conversation we had about like she would be have her own demands, but it was the way she was able to ask and present it, and it was always very respectful of Cody's ego and also just the fact he loved her, so obviously he's going to perceive it like take it differently when she says it versus if like Mary says it or Christine says it, those sister witches. So it's like the sister witches say it, it's bad, but like and they're a bitch, but like anything
Right.
Robin says he would never call Robin a bitch. So it's like it's just crazy to me that like his choices are his own, but it's like to not say anything about the way he treated like Savannah and Isabel, and I only bring them up as examples. I don't think that it's okay how he treated any of his other children, but those are two examples of they didn't do anything to you that you even disagreed with. Like
You mean as far as Robin is concerned?
like as far as Cody's concerned, sorry. So like Cody like wasn't getting along with Gabe and Garrison, so he justified the fact he wasn't going to see them at Christmas because blah blah blah. They weren't respecting the COVID rules, but Savannah was. And like he didn't even wish her a Merry Christmas. I don't even think he remembered. I don't even think he thought of it. He was thinking about giving like bikes to his other kids. And the fact Robin is okay with that, he's responsible for that. But the fact that she doesn't have anything to say about that, like he didn't call Savannah on Christmas. What did she do? She didn't do anything and he ignored her. And that's his child.
Right.
Imagine
Right.
if he did that to one of her kids. Like it wouldn't even be a thing. So it's just you didn't want the family, stop saying it. And that's kind of how we feel. If we got like a tell all at the end where they were all together and they were all like required to answer questions, then it might actually be worth like all the boredom that we're dealing with now. But I'm bored and I'm just, it makes me angry because like there's nothing there. And like you guys were saying about like, should you even subscribe to this? What the fuck are we paying for?
Right.
It's
Right.
horrible. It's so boring and people are only like watching because they know the characters from previous seasons and they are like characters they put on a face and stuff, but I don't give a fuck about your new house, Cody. Are you acting like a doting dad to like a 22-year-old? Like fuck off. Like it's just so annoying. But anyway, we'll see what the tell all does at the end. I guess probably be nothing, but
I think they already did the tell all. It's crazy. And that's another thing. Like I think they already shot the tell all a while ago.
right, right, yeah,
So that's gonna be a tell nothing. Then you
yeah,
have they already started filming season 21.
yep.
So I
What's that gonna
at this
be?
point, like as bad as it is, I was like, I'm thinking about it and I want to keep doing the Sunday show, but like the Sunday show after show, I don't know if I'm I, I'm looking at
So
next season. I don't know if I want to do season 21 with TLC. If I do a Sunday show, it might be for like a original or different content, not
yeah,
necessarily for just sister wives, strictly sister wives,
yeah,
just because it's not it's just not like it's not a good show anymore. Like,
no, it
and I don't
isn't.
want to be an asshole about it. I know I catch a lot of heat. Like, folks don't realize how much heat I'm catching for saying this, but it's just true. Like, what I mean,
Oh,
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not speaking the truth. It's not
yeah,
a good show.
nope.
The show is sucking ass. At this
Yeah.
point, it's gassed out. They're not really discussing or developing anything. We're talking about old, tired, already resolved issues. Cowdy
Yeah.
Pass is already done.
Yeah.
So for us to sit here like, oh, woo, this is the inner workings of Coyote Pass. The fact that I just heard tonight from a viewer and not from the show that this show, the Coyote Pass is the way it's titled under joint tenancy as opposed to
Mhm.
like tenancy in common or whatever. That's ridiculous. That should already came out on the show, but it
Yeah.
didn't. A
It
lot of
really
the
has
news
nothing.
that we're talking about is stuff that we find out on the through the rags of like People or
Yep.
ET or the Sun or like YouTubers are talking about it, and that's driving a lot of the controversy. That's driving a lot of the conversation. But if
Yeah.
you strictly watch the show, and my challenge to other content creators, if you disagree with me and this show is so interesting, then only do a review when this season's over. Only do a review or recap of season 20.
Yeah.
If this show is so interesting, it's not interesting. That's why we have to go back and talk about it. I'm not even criticizing people who have to do that because that's what you have to do to make the shit interesting.
Right.
Because there's nothing there.
There's
And
nothing.
yeah, and if you talk about season 20, usually you're talking about season 20 in context of what happened before. So you
Yeah.
have to root it into previous seasons because
Mhm.
they're not telling us anything new. We're not learning anything different. We're already exposed to the reality that they've been making most of this shit up anyway. So it begs the question, what are we watching?
Yep. The only thing that would make it okay, I think, is if like the kids come somehow like came on and like were honest about what was going on and like they aired some of the dirty laundry and Robin and Cody actually had to hear it and be in the same room with them. I know this isn't gonna happen. But like
Right.
I wish those kids could almost like get some money or some kind of revenue for what they've been through. Their entire life was on TV. I know it was a different time, like family vloggers weren't criticized or whatever. There wasn't even family vloggers when this like show started. But obviously, like I don't agree when those children too young to give consent to be have their whole lives filmed on TV. I don't think you'd be able to make the show again now because it's highly criticized to do that for good reason. But they didn't get any money. I bet they got nothing, and their whole life was on the show. And so
Right.
if they actually wanted to talk about like the truth of how stuff really was, that might make some conflict something interesting. Like somebody said before that maybe McKelty is the most likely one to like talk about stuff or Maddie, and it's like if they did something maybe, but like it's so fake. Like the Robin and Cody stuff, and every time they go to them, I'm like, there's nothing here. There's
Right.
nothing here. These are not good people, and I don't normally say that because I don't know them personally. But it's not okay to like do the things they did and take all the money. It's like and spend all the money on like stupid paintings and like ugly art and dolls and shit. And it's like your kids that don't have that money. It's wild. It's just crazy. But thank God for our community. It's the only thing that makes it good. And we can rag on them. And it's not even coming from a hateful place. It's just this is what you presented and you've lied for so many seasons. It's like where people aren't dumb and that's why they don't like you because they Cody and Robin still are trying to act like we don't know what they've done.
Right.
We do.
Right.
It's crazy, but I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks, James.
Appreciate it. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. All right. Janet got my Irish up a little bit. Yeah, I just, I don't disagree. I mean, it's just where do we go from here is kind of where it's at because the show is not, I don't foresee the show changing. And a large part of that is the direction of the show, how the show is being perceived, and how the show is being carried out. I don't see it changing much just because they've received too much positive feedback, if you will. People still watch the show. People still review the show. People are still talking about the show. They haven't hit rock bottom yet. They haven't had a substantive enough change in order for them to be able to change what they're doing or feel the need to change what they're doing, if that makes sense. Like they've hit a point now where they're just so used to everybody tuning in because this is what we do at Sunday nights that they think they can present anything that they want and we're just going to watch it and we're just going to eat it up. And so I think that's why I'm taking a position I'm taking it. And if I have to be the one to take the heat for it, then so be it. But that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because I want them to do better. I want TLC to wake up and start actually presenting a show that can be enjoyed, viewed, and discussed. Not us having to go back and talk about things that happened 10 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, it's crazy to me. So I don't know. But we have some super chats. We'll get to those. And then we're going to close the evening out. Tanya never hit me back. Oh, not Tanya Carter. But I'll bring you up first next time, Tanya. Next up, we have Lizzie B in the house with a $10 super chat. For $30 a month, I expect for Robin to be filling out job applications. Yeah, right. That would be an episode. With $30 a month, I expect Robin to be filling out job applications every week and getting interviewed intensively. Cody to be doing extreme sports and the OG3 to be doing something new every season. Yeah, right. I mean, it's just basically, even the conversations are old and stale. Would you like to be a monogamous? I didn't want to be the monogamous. I didn't want to be with you. I don't know what that monogamous is. Dude, that just means that we're going to be with each other and not have extra outside wives. But doesn't that mean we don't have access to their money and bank accounts? Yes, it does. But you're my shy, quiet wife because you won't allow me to touch you at all anymore. So you must be shy. Like that. These are the conversations that we're watching now. But yeah, I mean, I watch Robin try to do like chapter 2 job search. Like I'll watch that season, criticize her intensively. I would do that. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. CTLC, you guys need to take some of these good suggestions. I mean, run with them. Don't leave them on the shelf. All right. Next up, we have, thank you, Lizzie B, the Mega Mod, Jody Periscala, $9.99 super chat. I am just ready for other content, James. I'll hang here and try to keep up here. Maybe we can a little less of the show. So many are here just for our group. We are all obsessed. I get sucked in. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to bounce to different stuff, especially for season 21. The way this season is wrapping up, unless something insane happens. Like I heard rumor, they're kind of kicking out that Brianna Aurora is supposed to be like having a big blow up with Robin at the end of the season because they're trying to get their independence and move out, and that's supposed to create like a big stir. But we'll see. I mean, that's kind of in the you guys got to watch the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what's real with this stuff anyway, but either way, it might be, to be honest with you, by the time it comes out, it might be too little too late. So even if they do create, like, and this is one of the problems, like if they get to a point where they haven't done the right thing by the audience and people start peeling out, like most things, like going to the gym. You go to the gym, you go on rock steady, 4 or 5 times a week. You all of a sudden, you start cutting it back or you stop going. The first week it's going to hurt. You're going to feel bad. Oh, I should have went to the gym. I'm so lazy. By the second or third week, you've already filled that time in. Like you got other shit in that slot. And I can't go to the gym. I'm so busy. Like, so the same thing happens with this show. Like, if people get used to not watching it and they're okay with not watching it, they're not coming back. TLC, let me say that one more time real slow. And I'm gonna look right in the camera when I say this. If people get tired of watching this show and they leave, they are not coming back. So if you guys run up like an average storyline or you start doing real storylines after everybody's left, they are not coming back. It'll take something so extreme for people to tune back in, for you to recapture that audience. So you need to figure it out now before people leave. Because once I stop paying this, I'm telling you, once I stop paying this money, this damn tax I'm paying to watch this damn show early, once I stop doing that, there's the chances I'm gonna say, you know what I need to do? Start paying up again. The only reason I haven't canceled the shit already is because my wife started watching some other shows on the platform that I got. That's the only reason I ain't canceled the shit already. So it's not even because of Sister Wife that I have early access. So let's be very clear. Because you guys just ain't doing it for me no more. Sorry, boo boo. But thank you, Jody Perry Scholar. Let me give you a little something, something. All right. Next up, we have Brittany Not Brittany in the house with the 999 Super Chat. Robin wants to emulate her mom's marriage and fails to realize that her mom also failed at polygamy. Uh-oh. Somebody's dropping truth bombs. Nobody likes Alice either. They're both seen as the evil stepmother. Stop taking bad advice from bad people. People who've already failed at the thing you're attempting. Girl, you need to do it just like me because I done cracked the code up and did. Excuse me. No, I hate you too. Alice Christmas list is 3 people. Her, herself, and myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just terrible. Me, myself, and I. 3 people. Like, so this is how you get a man and keep him. You destroy the family. Step A, destroy the family. Step B, make him feel like it's the other people's fault that you destroyed the family. Step C, divorce said man. Like, and find another family to destroy it. It's like the reverse stepfather, like back in the 70s, that slasher film. But thank you so much, Brittany Not Brittany. Then we have Brittany Not Brittany with a $4.99 super chat coming through. The look back / watch alongs were the most interesting content the producers have given us in a while. Have them do that at the same have them do that at the very effing least. LOL. Yeah. But I don't, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't know if they would do another look back or watch along episode. Just because Robin and Cody were so uncomfortable watching this shit. And they couldn't back out of it. Like even Robin with the whole like sour ass face. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to really participate. You will watch it. I can't watch it. I don't know how a tablet works. That shit. Yeah. Like, do you like cashing these checks? That's what the producer need to say. You like cashing these fat ass checks? Because the last time I checked, I have never had a job that you get to go to work and tell them that you don't feel like working today. I never had a job where you can show up to work and say, you know what, guys, I don't feel like working today, but I fully expect to get paid. If you tell your job that you don't want to work, they send your ass home. You okay? Well, I mean, you don't have to be here. And honestly, if you don't want to be here today, you can take your ass home today and don't worry about showing up tomorrow. How's that sound? You know what I mean? Cancel Christmas, asshole. Like, that's how that works. Like, you don't get to go to work and tell them that you don't feel like doing shit. I don't want to do this. I don't feel comfortable in that. But that's also part of the coddling that I'm talking about that TLC has been doing with all of their reality show people. Like, I started watching that shit back in, like I said, 90 Day Fiance. I remember when they had questions and they had people jump up. It was between Colt and Angela, a guy named Colt and Angela Dean. They would ask questions or they would broach a subject matter. They would jump up. I'm not talking about that. They walk off the stage and they would coax them back on the stage. They would leave long enough that they would miss that part of the clip. And once the other cast members figured that shit out, that's all you have now. Walk-offs and people getting angry because somebody said something they don't like and they just storm off and nobody talks about the shit. So when they realize that it's almost their segment where they're going to start talking about stuff that they did on the show, all of a sudden they create an argument or make a statement, jump up and run off the set, and nobody talks about it. And the sister wives started doing the same shit. Cody and Robin. Oh, I will leave. Cody looking at his watch. That's all that is. Like, the production has to take control of the situation. Either you want to be on the show or you don't. Now, maybe you're more afraid after season 17 when the show is doing really well in the ratings that you might give in to Cody a little bit or Robin when they start throwing these temper tantrums. But all that shit stopped around season 19 when the ratings started leveling off. And now that the ratings have actually started to decline in season 20, if you don't want to do this show, we don't have to do this show. Save me some money. Save me some money. Because if you walk off this show, the chances that you're going to get picked up by another show are slim to freaking none. Nobody is hiring Cody and Robin to do another show. Like, yeah, he got picked up for Special Forces. But if you look at Special Forces, you know, and this is an asshole thing to say, but it's the truth. Like, everybody on Special Forces is washed up. Nobody's on that show like at the peak of their career, at the highlight of their time. Like the most people who are probably at more like at the peak or uptick in their career would be the social media people. But those aren't mainstream folks. So for them, as a social media personality, it's a bump for you to get on something like Special Forces. But for somebody like Cody Brown, an NFL player, NBA player, a gold medalist from the Olympics, an Olympic gold medalist, a soccer superstar who doesn't play anymore, all these people are retired. Their careers are on a downslope. This is the Love Boat. That's what Special Forces is. Special Forces, Dancing with the Stars. That shit is Love Boat. Where they used to take people who were once famous and put them on the show so that they, hey, remember him? He was on Happy Days. Remember this guy? He was on Heart to Heart or Dukes of Hazzard. You know what I mean? That's all these shows are. So you think you famous because your ass has got a guest spot on the Love Boat? Oh, bruh. You are not okay. And you're definitely not safe. So no, they got to put their foot down. They got to put their foot down. You know? If you don't want to answer questions, you don't want to talk about this stuff, that's fine. You're just not on the show anymore. Slide their ass a pink slip. That's how that worked. But oh, Wendy. Yeah. Fantasy Island, that was another one. Fantasy Island, that was another one. But yeah, they were entertaining because they were scripted and they actually had good writers. So difference. Message. You know what I mean? But thank you, Brittany. Appreciate you. But yeah, I appreciate everybody calling in and taking the time. Before we before we get too far afield, let me acknowledge some folks. First, I want to acknowledge the Mega Mod Squad. Brittany Not Brittany, Caramel Cuties, Lizzie B in the house. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do and keeping the chat super chill, super cool for us to be able to enjoy this community. I appreciate everybody who filled out, attended the chat, everybody who kind of listened to us talk and me prattle on. I appreciate you guys. But let me give recognition to Lizzie B, Betty, Shannon Lee, about to say Lizzie B again, but Lizzie B popping up. Tracy Roth, Tracy Roth Myers. I'll make sure I get the whole name in. Lady D London, appreciate you. Jody Pierce Scala, and of course Brittany Not Brittany. Appreciate you guys. And we had Lizzie B, she gifted one My Take on Reality membership. Make sure you guys come in for the Sunday or Saturday noon time roundtable, noon Eastern Standard Time. We have a great time. We open up the room, let everybody jump in, and we have a whole big discussion. It's awesome. If you guys want to come in for that, amazing stuff. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, Lizzie B. Let me give you a little something. No, I almost missed that. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for participating. Thank you for supporting the channel and our endeavors as we move forward, because we're going to have to move forward from Sister Wives. And we're still going to talk about it on the channel, but we're going to shift focus a little bit. Hopefully you guys enjoy that ride as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Once again, big shout out to everybody. Let me give you all a little something, all the callers who called in. Give them a little something.